A night in with MauLer and the drinker, getting trashed with the web screen thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop off the cork, have a glass of wine, as they'll say, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, MauLer and the critical drinker.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Well, indeed. We made it. The world is better now.
Nature is healing. Well, you find us in a subdued mood, hence the funeral clothing here. I wasn't able to make it to Chris Gore's funeral for Star Wars yesterday, so this is my next best effort. I'm here to pay tribute. Like, how many times have we said that this is the death of Star Wars? I think I've lost track at this
because
point.
There's not words that capture what the actual experience of watching this happen over and over again is. You haven't come up with the words yet, so maybe we'll have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it died, then they exhumed the corpse, and then like broke it into pieces, burned it, and then like buried it and salted the ground that it was on. I think that's kind of what the Acolyte is now. It's almost as dead as the critical doggo there. Look at that idiot there. That's what I'm having to deal with here.
To Jason in the Friday the 13th series throughout. That's what's happened to Star Wars. Those kinds of resurrections.
Yeah. It's not been great stuff. But hey, it's made for some good content for us to point and laugh at, I suppose. It seems to have united the fan base. Probably not the way they wanted to, but
good for you, Disney Star Wars.
Yeah, and we're here to talk about it. You know, Dr. Drinker is here to perform his autopsy. And believe me, I've done more than my share in my time. Unlicensed, of course, but that's okay. But before we start, as is the custom, I want to talk a little bit about the year of our Lord, 2004, which is, it's going to match up with Open Bar 104. And I didn't do it last week because I totally forgot. But, you know, I'm here to make up for lost time now, so here we go. In terms of things which happened in that year, well, we had Facebook launched that year. Also, Firefox, Gmail, and the Nintendo DS all came out in the year 2004. In terms of movies, the top movies of the year, top 5 in terms of worldwide box office gross were Shrek 2, which came close to $1 billion, actually. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, whatever, I don't care. Spider-Man 2, that was an okay movie, I thought. Pretty good. Yeah, I remember the days of good comic book movies. It was nice. I like that time. The Incredibles, I can't believe that was 20 years ago. But yeah, The Incredibles came out in 2004. And The Passion of the Christ. That's...
which those two fit really well together, you know?
It's an interesting juxtaposition, I suppose.
Superheroes.
That took over 600 million worldwide for like a hardcore religious movie. That is pretty impressive, you know. As for the rest of it, it was quite a good year for comedy. We had Dodgeball, Team America, Anchorman, and Shaun of the Dead all in one year.
Well.
I mean, this is a bit of a bumper year right there.
Yeah.
We also had Super Size Me, where we learned that eating McDonald's morning, noon, and night for a month makes you fat and unhealthy. Who would have thought?
Crazy.
I'm glad they showed us that. We got Kill Bill Volume 2. Good movie. It was also the start of the Saw franchise. The very first Saw movie came out 20 years ago. And it also gave us Downfall, which was a damn good movie. But for video games... We got Half-Life 2 and Counter-Strike came out that year. Halo 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, which is probably my favorite entry in the franchise, and GTA San Andreas. And as a random little fact, it was also the year where we got FIFA Football 2005, which was the last major title for the PlayStation 1. More than 10 years after the console released, which is pretty impressive. So, cheers to you, PlayStation 1.
The fun facts about that, because you mentioned Super Size Me, the little documentary, right? Well, fun and not so fun. So I guess I'm pretty sure they actually got the super size option like temporarily removed in certain places or whatever as a result of that documentary. But then time went on, and there's been loads of, and you can find these videos on YouTube as well as I want to say Fathead is one of the main documentaries that were made to say that it was bullshit, the Super Size Me one.
Right. Okay.
he filled it with just absolute bullshit facts and stuff. Also, then Morgan Spurlock, I think he died semi-recently.
He did, yeah. I don't think it was from obesity or anything like that.
No, it was like cancer or something, right?
Yeah, which is, obviously tragic. But yeah, I never really understood what they were hoping to prove from that documentary. Like, I don't think anyone went into McDonald's thinking like, oh yeah, this is how I'm going to get in shape by eating this shit every day.
Yeah.
Like, this is fast food for a reason. It's just there. It's like called junk food. It's just there for convenience, I suppose. But oh well. Yeah, they removed the option for a while.
Stop thinking it is. You're like, all right. They have a salad there.
Oh God! I don't know anyone ever gone and ordered a McDonald's salad in their whole lives.
When you do, the cashier is like, "What?
Like, sir, are you okay?
Do we actually sell those?" And they go up to like the container that's got a poster on it, and it's just nothing.
It'd be like, right, what can we use here? I don't know. They put lettuce in Big Mac, so it's just big handful of that.
Just have a potato, just one potato. Like that is that salad, potato salad? That's what they say.
Yeah, let's go with that. Anyway, we should probably get on with the actual stream here and bring in our guests. What do you reckon?
Yeah,
all right. Well, we've got some people here that you might recognize. I'm just going to bring them all in at the same time. We have Star Wars Theory, Nerdrotic, Snarky Jay, and the Angry Badger. Welcome, everyone.
The Avengers.
Hello. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you guys here to mourn the death of Star Wars for like the 7th time at this point. So. I'm just going to jump right into it, I suppose. Like, now that we've gotten to the end of the Acolyte, did it live up to your expectations? Did it deliver everything you'd expected when we started?
No, it surpassed them. It subverted them. I've said it before. It's the living embodiment of the meme. Our expectations were low, but holy fuck. That was unbelievable. That last episode was something, man. Watching it twice was another something.
It would be funny to go back to all of our videos having the cynical predictions of like, oh, they'll probably have some reference to Darth Plagueis. They'll probably have Yoda at some point. They'll probably do this. They'll probably, and it's just like, yeah, you pretty much just got it all. Like,
Theory, I sent you a message on Twitter like the day it came out, saying like, I bet they have Yoda in there to humiliate him, and you're like, yeah, I think they probably will.
Yeah, right.
I thought it was gonna be worse.
And they used the Last Jedi Yoda too. Did you notice that? Yeah,
the puppet from the Last Jedi. Yeah,
he looked weird.
They haven't been able to figure out how to make him look as good as an Empire. They just never have.
Or in the freaking prequels, man.
Well, because he's supposed to look like his High Republic look, so more hair and different, more gaudy.
He had like 3 more hairs than he did in the original trilogy. I don't even know the timeline here.
A man's going to lose a bit of hair in 100 years. What can I say?
I thought they were going to do way worse things. Like, it's bad, but I guess I was picturing even way worse, and like full on, maybe season 2, full on involvement of Plagueis and overriding of things. But
season 2, buddy.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, I am praying they do a season 2. Please give us this.
They'll get it.
They for sure will. They got the money to burn, so they're going to do it just to make a statement.
To cancel it will be right. The toxic bigots would be right. They can't cancel it.
Yeah. I mean,
then they just let us all win.
Yeah.
Well, either way, we win, because like if they cancel it, it's like, well, we get a bit of Schadenfreude. Like, yeah, your shit show has been consigned to the ash heap of history. If they decide to make a season 2, well, we can make some content about that. So,
I mean,
we win either way.
Furthers the proof, right? Another chance given to Disney to fail again. Just be like, yeah, people are starting to real notice now. It ain't just us on the internet. You know what I mean?
I honestly think they could make more profit just by putting $180 million, like a big stack of bills, into a pile, setting it on fire, and doing a live stream of them doing it. I think they would get so many people tuning in just to watch the insane spectacle of it that like it'd probably make more money than the Acolyte ever will for them.
Is the money in that space battle where it all went? That last space battle?
I think it all went on Amanda Stenberg and her amazing fight choreography.
Yes.
I thought it all went to animating Basil every episode.
Yes.
I've got to say, guys, I legit thought Rosario Dawson was like the worst fighter I've ever seen in Star Wars, but now my expectations have been subverted.
Things can always get worse.
I think we have a new champion.
I still think Reva takes the cake.
Fuck, I don't
Revo is
remember.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Revo
Oh,
was
it
pretty
was
bad.
just so.
I just remember
clunky
her
and-
running, like, and how she couldn't run in that armor because it was so clunky and awkward, and like
Right.
she looked like she was about to fall over. But like watching Amanda Stenberg, I guess having to fight opposite a stunt double with like careful camera work, it was so slow and so stiff.
I've seen lots of people praising like the choreography for the symmetry of it, right? And there's like, oh, look at this yin yang sort of thing going on. It's like, they've had completely different upbringings and training. Why are they fighting symmetrically? That doesn't make any
They're the same.
They both fight equally shit, and then they keep intercutting it with like Squid Game guy and Smilo Ren, and they're really fucking good. Like they're good fighters. They move well. They're quick. They're graceful. They're poised. They hit their marks really well. You're
if only
just
they hadn't
shining the
ruined it
giant
with
light.
that slow mo.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Also, they still have. Wait for Shad to slow it down, and you'll find there's plenty of opportunities. You see them when you're watching it. Of like, wait, why didn't he kill him? Wait, why
in the hallway scene?
Oh, there's
where
tons.
They're mimicking episode 3, and I'm like, this is supposed to be the hallway scene, and then I'm like, Shad's gonna be pausing this constantly, where it's like he could have hit him there and there, and they stole the scene from that fan film SC-38, where they're like, the marks along the wall locked up. It's like, dude.
I thought they were going to do something with that because they're on like an elevated walkway, and it's like, okay, we're cutting through the support beams with our lightsabers. This shit's going to fall down, and then nothing happens. Like, oh, okay, fine.
Their sabers look like that. Like, do they even put CGI on them anymore in rotoscope? Like, literal theory sabers look better than because I know they are using toy sabers on set, but then it's like, they don't do any post effects on it.
They're weirdly dim. I don't know if
they don't.
They look. That's what I'm saying. They look dim. They don't look.
Well,
yeah.
Also, what I noticed was,
and why are they so thick? Also, they're like
a giggity.
This fucking big. They're like the girthiest lightsabers I've ever seen, and I don't mean that in a good way.
And it's not.
I think, well, from what I read, is because there's electronics and batteries in there that last a long time. But it's like, well, you could just go to theorysabers.com and grab yourself. But
link in the description, boys.
I think the main reason is because they want to sell them at Galaxy's Edge, and they have to have them thick. So that it looks more accurate,
and they can see as seen in the insert horrible show here.
Yeah, maybe because I mean, freaking Mace Windu's lightsaber is like pencil thin. It's like 80 years passes and everyone's lightsabers are like super scrawny. So I don't know what happened there.
The idea that this show is going to be a marketing opportunity for anything or anyone is fantastic. God bless their optimism.
Dude, I there have been bad shows in Star Wars like Boba Fett and all this and that, but like this one actually kind of hurts. It's like, this is just such, what the hell? How do you write off on a project like this and $180 million and then freaking shoehorn Plagueis, the like probably most anticipated character that we all thought was going to be Snoke, and then you literally just put him in there for like 3 seconds. And all of a sudden, we're supposed to be like, "Oh my god, wow! It's that
I know.
guy."
It's like, what is the average viewer supposed to take from that scene where he's like
spooky music?
That he's like this creepy freaking dude who he was spying on Smilo Ren the whole time. He would get nude and go into the pond.
That's
and
what
watching
he's just trying to see if he has Riz or not.
Did Smilo Ren know about him? Like, and he's still there when they go back.
Presumably,
to that
yes. And they would have been the scene. Like, I need that deleted scene where he's talking to fucking Osha or whatever about, you failed your training or the Jedi, blah blah. She walks off, then he walks around a corner and fucking Plagueis is like, how's it going? How is she?
Literally, yeah.
Like, yeah, she's pretty okay. And he's like, you should get out more. Take us somewhere nice.
Yeah. I wanted Smilo Ren's just having to run cover.
Here's
for
a
this
few
guy.
dollars.
Like, he's all right when you get to know him.
I wanted to do a skit where he's like in the cave, and then I just like pop out with a sandwich. And I'm like a homeless person. Like, can you leave my cave, please? Like, why are you here? He's like,
please do this skit though.
Sorry,
I'm evil.
Well, so is this where Plagueis gets the idea then for creating life with the Force? He hears this.
He learned from them.
This is their retroactive.
Very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. And I think like
the lesbian space witches are going to be the inspiration. Absolutely.
Well, Gary, that's the whole thing that she did with all of her interviews. She's like, oh, well, when it comes time to training Anakin, then I think, they think twice because of Osha and May. And I'm like, fuck you. No, that's not how this works.
I illustrating how big those fucking lightsabers have gotten. Look at Amanda's hand compared to the lightsaber she's supposed to use. Just that image there.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I mean, I need to screen share this.
Is this the throbbing lightsaber, MauLer?
What was with that?
I don't know.
I
almost lightsaber throbbing at his neck.
Just look at it.
Audio description.
There's so many things I could say that I'm just not going to.
You know, a picture says it all. It really does.
Look, Amanda, it's what you do with it that counts, okay?
Yeah.
It's not about size.
And then the bleeding of the lightsaber crystal.
Just a little. See, that's a proper side.
Yeah,
right
I'm sorry. Can we talk about that bleeding? Because let's just analyze the fact that Anakin murdered children, and somehow that wasn't enough to turn the lightsaber red, but an angry teenage girl turned it red.
I say there's comics to explain that, right? Like, why didn't Anakin's turn, and that he had a problem bleeding his lightsaber? They had to explain that plot point away.
Wait.
Used to be bleeding.
From the Disney
it's because
Star
it's the
Wars
lesbian space witches. They know all about bleeding, man.
Yeah. Red lightsabers used to just be synthetic ones, and then they changed it to you can bleed them and change their color.
So it's a cycle in the Force. That's what it is. So.
Once a month, you can do your.
Once a month, my lightsaber turns red.
You guys gonna make me defend? They clearly showed us the lightsaber got broke, so that the crystal came out.
Yeah,
I know,
dude.
Those
lightsabers break so easy.
It was
the
crap
emotions
and
of her.
stupid and horrible and cringe, but they're trying to cover their asses as to why.
Sound like me, MauLer, when I have to defend small little things in it. Yeah,
I love that they repurposed the scene from Return of the Jedi, and they do it freaking wrong. Like, she throws away the lightsaber first, and then he goes strike him down. It's like, with what?
Dude, it was driving me nuts. Soul wasn't picking his lightsaber back up. She tossed it, just like, you want to just grab that? May as well grab that.
He just lets
he
her
didn't
kill him.
Let a lot of things happen. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
And the little CG. Do you see that CGI tier?
Yeah,
bro?
Do you see that?
Yeah.
$180 million. It can't do a proper tier. Like, what the hell?
I saw her. Like, I saw her. She had
like
snot running down her nose, and like I get that, like it's quite an emotional moment, but like that's not where you should be leaking from during a scene like this. You want to be crying from your eyes, not your nose. Like,
can I just say she's an awful actress?
Yes, you can.
You
can.
She has one face. That's it.
Well, it's not even just that. So you guys must have noticed, right? The one thing that struck out to me and Fringy with the editing that we've done on this is just how much she's doing like child acting of, you tell a child like, so this is the scene where you're angry, and she goes, rah, and you're like, yes, there you go, you've done it. That's how it comes across to me every time she shouts. And there's this one shout that she does in episode 8 where she's fighting May. She screams at
Oh my god, yeah.
Because May is an admiral as well, but it cuts to a May and she's like, what the fuck are you doing?
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so unearned. It's just
it doesn't feel like
it's got any it doesn't feel like it's got any weight to it.
It's got no weight, logic. There's no logic to this episode. Verisimilitude.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, like the whole point of Soul not defending himself when he's in that little struggle session towards the end, he just
that's my issue.
Made by Perry Chan, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Made by Perry Chan.
Credit there. It was just like I saw it on X the other day, and it was so fucking good.
This actress is so bad they gave her 2 main roles.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? It's funny because Smilo Ren managed to be good enough that people started to respect him more and more as an actor. If you understand what I'm saying, like it wasn't just we hate everybody on this show. Everyone kept saying the actor for Soul. It's like, oh, we want to give him some stuff that's not cringe, please. He's clearly able to emote. So I'm just trying to get across. It's not just because we hate the show. MauLer is particularly awful at selling emotion.
Did not audition, MauLer. Did not audition.
I am
shocking news.
Who didn't audition?
Amanda Stenberg and the guy who played Asian Ezra Miller, Smilo Ren, Little Wang, whatever we want to call him.
Manny Jacinto.
Yeah, he didn't audition either.
Leslie said in that interview she got her
audition either, did she?
Yeah,
neither
did
Squid Game or something, right?
Yep. She just
I
chose
could see them hiring him just because of Squid Game, to be honest.
Yeah.
100%, but they probably were just watching it on the couch, and she's like, I think he'd be great. Let's try to get him. I love him. I love him too. Okay, let's get him. All right.
I legit can't work out who's the worst actress. Is it Amanda Stenberg or is it Leslie Headland's wife?
The wife.
Because they're both.
I've never seen anybody more wooden in my life.
The wife.
Jedi Master Green Skittle ruined my fucking day. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I was going through
That's some great acting right there, by the way. Woo.
She's nothing like Vanestra in the comics, or not the comics, but the books as described, because I didn't read the High Republic, but I was looking through her Wikipedia. Say, you read the High Republic?
No. Bro, what's wrong with you?
The first book, and I was out. I was reading her Wikipedia to see, like, just what they changed. She's 116 by the time we get to her. And, like, yeah, that whole thing, by the way, about her being sick when she travels is from the High Republic books. That's where that joke is from. Because I was like, I love how they make
that doesn't actually go anywhere. There's no purpose to that.
It's a just fun reference for those who read the book, Drinker. You know,
the 5 and 10 of people
literally
out there.
Dozens of people would be excited by that when they saw it.
Dozens.
He's over.
It's a little high.
A dozen.
Oh, and she graduated. She was 16 when she became a Jedi Knight.
Of course.
You know,
of course she was.
I think the writing in the show speaks for itself. As a show, it's really shit. As Star Wars, I think it's even worse when you have all these rules that you have to adhere to. But I think what pisses me off the most is that she just doesn't understand the characters, and she just kind of thinks like, oh, Plagueis, like that's someone who like is important in the Star Wars world. Let's throw him in there for a few seconds and have people theorize and like jangle the keys. And then Yoda, you're having all this shit happen and he can't sense a damn thing.
Nope.
And then when frickin' Vernestra comes in and she's gonna lie to his face, okay. Like, he just doesn't feel that she's like...
It doesn't sense any deception.
That's bullshit, I do.
Well,
only
it's
Vanestra
just,
can sense anything.
Yeah, no, it's just, this is what happens when you get someone who, like, maybe knows a little bit about Star Wars and she's surrounded by people, you know, like in those interviews where they're like, yeah, we were asking her, like, well, why can't we have this planet? And she's like, no, that's because this and this happened. And we're like, wow, she knows so much about Star Wars. It's like, you're literally getting that kind of praise from the guy who says that Anakin blew up the Death Star and doesn't know shit about Star Wars because he's an actor. He doesn't need to. It would be nice if he did. So you're just having this person that gets this $180 million budget who thinks she knows everything and is going in just head first with all this shit and is like, yeah, that's great. But what the fuck, man? You literally are like ruining so much stuff because you don't understand any of the lore or anything for that matter. And now we get this show. And we'll probably get season 2.
But the problem is that it actually works and there's people willing to defend it. Like, I went and looked through Twitter the morning after I saw the episode, Wednesday morning, to see what people were saying. And there was literally a tweet from somebody going, oh my God, this show deserves a second season based solely on the fact that Yoda was back. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? These are the same people that put Jedi Master Yoda in this and basically made it seem like he didn't know this dumb bitch was lying. Like, they just jangled the keys. Look, it's Yoda! And they just follow. Like, I don't understand.
You guys
that would be the same people that will see that, like, the lightsaber scene and be like, oh my God, we got to see a lightsaber bleeding in live action. It's pure cinema, man.
Yeah, they're not talking about the characters.
TDS, they're not talking about collision of bots, too.
The way it was weaved, all the storytelling, no, it is literally always one tiny thing that relates to a color or a shape or a character in like an appearance of a character in isolation. I was going to say, do you see that fucking viral post that said Star Wars is thriving?
Yes.
Thriving.
I replied saying, like, I think you've been dying.
Disney Star Wars could have saved money because they didn't need to put Yoda or Plagueis in motion. They could have just put up still photography of them and they would have gotten the exact same result. So I'm
people.
Look at me here trying to help Disney.
It would save you a lot of money to just have a black screen for what, like 7 hours, and then a picture of Yoda at the end.
Yeah, a slideshow. Do a slideshow of class characters. That's all you need to do.
Remember this?
Remember
this?
Because if she lies, it ruins Yoda because it means he couldn't feel all the deaths. And if she tells us the truth, it ruins Yoda because it means he was complicit of the cover. It ruins it either way.
I couldn't help to like draw parallels as well with the whole like Vernestra like throws a guy under the bus in order to cover up her own failings.
Yeah, I know.
One right, flawed man.
Hey, Leslie.
Oh, she's covering up her former Padawan being responsible for the death of over a dozen Jedi, directly or indirectly. She's covering up all the murders before the sisters. She's using the sister where she's the true villain. Yeah, she's the absolute villain in this.
Yeah.
Well, so you guys understand because I covered if this was before or after the stream started, but Basil, she has to kill Basil. He knows too much.
Yeah, I put that in my video.
Yeah, but you can't tell anyone because no one can understand.
So I put it in my video. But when she's going in for Yoda, she's just asking for some time off so she can go whack Basil. That's all she's doing. just discreetly, Basil,
Next
we're gonna
season,
go
she's
fishing.
wearing him as a hat.
Yeah, crazy.
There's a wider, when you guys talked about like just how like nonsensical everyone's motivations are, and like how you go into that final episode not really knowing what anyone's hoping to achieve or anything. Like Echo Chamberlain shared a really good quote that sums this episode up perfectly, and if you'll indulge me for a second, I'll read it to you. The audience headed into the final episode of The Acolyte with no clear idea of who the main character of the show was, whether we sympathize with them or not, what they want to accomplish, how they relate to the people around them, whether this is a moral or a morally relativist story. With what started as a murder mystery having petered out into a psychodrama with character motivations changing on a dime, little cause and effect or through line, the momentum having stalled with repeated sequences of the Rashomon effect, in which those involved give different points of view of the same incident, but with the differing perspectives not engaging us at all because we don't understand the characters or the stakes, and with the fanfic level identity politics indulgent show, the most audience panned and second worst rated Star Wars show on Disney Plus, despite a budget of $180 million. That's exactly right. Like, I went into this episode not knowing what anyone was actually hoping to achieve. It was a bunch of characters all converging on the same place purely because the script decided they should. For unidentified reasons. Everyone's motivations flip on a dime. The hero becomes the villain becomes the hero, and we're supposed to root for all of them. Why?
I think Vernestra's
I don't care
the
about
star,
any of these
actually.
fucking people.
She's the most consistent character, and she gets her she's corrupt. She gets her resolution. She sends people on a mission, they get killed. She finds out, she covers it up. She's got
also, I would like to point out that for as the Force is female, as everybody wants to make it, every female in this show is a problem. Like, there is no woman in this show with any redeeming qualities, because May was always awful and ended up just awful and confused. Osha was like half-assed okay, ended up awful, and Venestra has single-handedly like doomed the Jedi with this massive fucking cover-up. Are you just implying that we're all a problem? Is that what we're doing here? Because this is weird.
Trinity was based. She killed all the space witches and then she died stupidly. But like, she was cool as long as she lasted.
Diverse.
Okay, the one valid woman was
witch.
killed off immediately.
Diverse lesbian space witch thought it'd be a good idea to turn into a demon smoke monster in the middle of a high stakes standoff.
It was a mystical embrace.
Dude, I need to see how the whole ending of this episode goes if Soul just explicitly says to Osha and May, "Oh, your mom tried to kill you. Yep, your mom tried to kill you. She tried to kill you." Because she'd be like, "No, she didn't." You'd be like, "No, she did. I was there. I know you were there, but you were also like 5, so like, she tried to kill you."
This is a classic example of a character who should be easily able to explain themselves and justify their actions, but they don't because the script doesn't want them to. Like you say, MauLer, he could easily have said, "Well, we thought we were coming in to save your lives because you were part of this crazy cult of witches that were probably going to sacrifice you or whatever, and your mum turned into this horrifying demon smoke monster right in front of my eyes and started to dissolve one of you. So I felt like I had to act out of, protection for you. And it all went horribly wrong. But, like, you'd be dead. You'd just be straight up dead. You would have been absorbed into her or turned into a force ghost or something.
I would have sold it with severe clarity. Don't let her be confused about it. Just be like, she was going to kill you. You were turning into dust. I stopped her. I saved you. And now if you want to kill me for that, that just makes you retarded. I don't know what else to tell you.
She had sharp teeth. She's like,
I thought she was turning into a more bat god or something.
Yeah, and what you can say is, I killed her, and when she realized I stopped her, she was like, "Oh, I was actually a good person the whole time." She's trying to sell me some bullshit story when I had stopped her evil plan.
Did you see what Leslie said about that whole scene?
That she was transforming into the Force in a way that wouldn't kill them.
Killing them. It's just fucking killing them.
Yeah.
When StarWars.com, their breakthrough says that she was embracing her in a mystical embrace, and then Leslie's like, no, they were transforming into the Force. It's like, but that's
Listen, I'm going to transform into this giant Cthulhu monster, but it's just to get the cat out of the tree. Okay, so don't panic.
Like you said, Theory, it's the fact that it's like she does even the evil Golem face where her teeth are like, Gah! Like, why do you have to do that?
Every time I go to do a good deed, I howl.
You just woke up your dog, man. You just scared your dog with that.
Why can't Soul just he transformed her into the Force? I transformed your mother into the Force. She joined the Force. It was fine. I was going to let you do it too once you were old enough to decide for yourself.
She was doing it anyway, but I just like speeded up the process.
Yeah, I just got her straight there.
if the whole thing is, hey, she's trapped, there's a fire, why didn't they all just rush to go help the kid trapped in the fire?
What really bothers me is that May explicitly remembers the stabbing, but she doesn't remember the demonic Nazgul moment. Is that just stupid?
It is stupid. And where's Coral?
Maybe she was used to it.
She's around somewhere.
And Leslie says survived. She doesn't know, Coral doesn't know Chimere, which is my theory. I thought we'd get the I am your mother.
Did you catch the line where they said, hey, who taught us this rhyme or whatever? And then they were like, I thought we taught ourselves. I was like, are they baiting Horn Girl's going to come back season 2? And she's the one that taught them that.
Well, she mentioned her in the article that we'll see her again.
Yeah.
Like insinuating Night Sisters.
To see her again, you know?
Well, we're definitely going to get season 2 because she's like, no, we don't know yet. And then she's like, well, we've talked about it. And then she says, well, we just don't know when it's going to come.
I mean, Disney, they've never shied away from making a product that's not going to make them money. They love doing that. So it wouldn't surprise me at all.
There's a couple of questions I had as well, right? And I know this is just one of those stupid...
No, I'm saying it won't.
Ones.
No.
I'm just saying they've never shied away from making something that does not...
Usually, that bombs?
Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy loves announcing other sequels and projects while a project is out because it's a marketing tool. And then they forget about it. Conveniently, it is interesting they haven't announced the season 2 yet.
Theory,
she won't be president of Lucasfilm when season 2 theoretically goes into production, will she? Because her contract
she's going to live forever, Drinker. She'll be there.
She will.
After
it'll just be renewed.
When the sea turns to
she's
dust,
literally a Sith Lord. She's not letting go.
Be there.
I was under the impression that her contract is up in the autumn and she's not renewing it. And so I don't know, like October or something, like she's out.
So somebody worse takes over.
Yep.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
But some people say like it would be insane to think that you get an Acolyte season 2 when it's just like the worst movie they could choose to make is a Rey movie. The worst show they could choose for season 2 for may very well be the Acolyte. It's just like that's what they do.
The worst time to do a Mandalorian movie is after season 3. You know,
yeah.
They can't catch a break.
No, she'll be replaced with someone far younger and more powerful.
With abilities that some consider unnatural.
Unnatural from the witches.
So people are saying Coral is going to be Darth Maul's mother. That's how they're going to retcon. They're going to do that too. If they're just going back in the past and taking over shit.
Don't say no.
Yeah, don't say no.
Yeah.
Rule it out.
Don't give them ideas.
Don't say no.
They're not that stupid.
Yes, they are.
Yes,
really?
I think you underestimate them.
Never say they're not that stupid.
Yes, they are.
Never, buddy.
Yeah, they are.
Can I ask you guys about Basil as well?
Go ahead.
Ah, fuck.
What is he? And like, what is his
the most evil entity in the universe? That's what I think he is.
Destroying the ship. And
he's
then
the real
Sith. For what?
So I
nobody even explained that.
He is fully like on board with protecting Saul in the previous episode because Mace sneaks on board pretending to be Osha because she gave herself a lightsaber haircut. Yeah, fucking retarded, but yeah, fine. He sniffs her out, knows that she's someone else, and like he stages that stupid Three Stooges sketch to like kick her in the knee, and then
the other one spits at her,
stomp on her toe, and
that spit joke.
I think we can surmise from that like he's on board with protecting Saul, like he knows that she's a baddie, and so then we get to this episode where she escapes from Saul, and Saul's pursuing her, and he decides, no, I need to stop you, and disables his ship, which could potentially have killed both of them actually, because they're in the middle of flying through planetary rings, which could have destroyed the entire vessel. Why did he do that? And then why did Saul leave him on board the ship when he's clearly outed himself as a saboteur?
Don't know.
I'd have spaced him right there. But so Saul was lining up. It was May. I'm really confused about this towards the end, especially with the way I was describing it in my video. And he had her in his sights. Was he going to kill her or use a tractor beam?
He was so close, he had to be using a tractor beam or something.
Like, I disagree. Yeah. It had to be killing it because why would he hesitate if it was a tractor beam?
Yep. So maybe
is the plot called for it?
I'm not trying to screw the show, but maybe Basil was trying to keep Saul from being a murderer.
No,
I honestly thought he was trying to get a target.
I had no idea. I was trying.
So the only way to check is to check the graphic. What have they used that graphic for before? Is it tractor beam or shooting shit? because
I've never seen a tractor.
We should go to the audio description. That will probably tell us.
That's actually a good point. But I was going to say he hesitates to complete the job. No way he does that with a tractor beam. Why would he hesitate on a tractor beam?
I thought he was just going to nudge her out of. I don't know.
I think he was going to shoot her, and that doesn't make any sense. By the way,
possibility.
There's no motivation to shoot her at all. It makes
no one dies when you shoot them down anyway. They all survive crashes.
Yeah,
every other thing.
She like
some people survive lightsaber stabs. It's never
unless you turn into smoke and then they interrupt your attack before it's finalized. And then you coalesce back around the lightsaber.
Then
Osha survives being on a spaceship, crashing from orbit onto the surface of a planet, and she just gets up and leaves. Like that is.
She's but a scratch.
She got her coat dirty. Yeah, and then May does the same thing. She crashes on a planet, barely a scratch, no problem. Really close to the highly combustible stone structure, by the way. So that was convenient. I thought.
I did like as well.
The whole thing was covered in gasoline.
It must have been
lighter fluid facility.
I loved the lighter fluid on it.
I loved how they had to restore power to the elevator, right? Yeah. And it's like you fucking the power generator for that place blew up. Like we saw it right on screen, and it's been sat there like derelict for
16 years, 20 years. She was repairing the wrong side. She didn't even, you know what I mean? They busted the console on the inside, not on the out.
Yeah.
What are you repairing?
It's just, but then it's the fact that fucking like Smilo Ren just teleports out of there. Like I don't know how he got into the fortress. He just leaves.
Guys, don't think about it. Just enjoy it.
I know.
I think she said the only other way would be to climb, referencing what Soul did. So I'm guessing they're saying that's what Smilo Ren did.
It's like he's gone. Like you can imagine her looking around, like, oh shit, he vanished, and then she just glances up, and he's like, don't look at me.
He's like jogging.
It's like I can't do this here. Look at me.
Yeah. She's just watching him the whole time. He looks down, and he's like, what?
What if he had one of those grappling hooks that they have in Phantom Menace and all that? He just didn't show it. It's under his cape. He really does have a grappling belt.
I was just at a point with this episode. I could have made a half-hour video, MauLer, and I'm like, I've got questions about this, and I don't want to put brain power into it anymore. I can't do it. I can't try to make this thing better.
Yeah.
Be as explicit as possible, right? You know, he realizes May is on his ship, and now we know. I always like getting that information so I fucking know what the fuck's going on. But Soul thinking to himself, okay, I've got May. I just need Osha. That's proof that there's a Virgence, and that means I can talk about everything that happened on the planet and clear my conscience with the High Council. So off I go to Brendok. And he's like, well, what? And he goes to Brendok and he says, I've activated my transponder so the Jedi can get here to meet you and for me to explain myself. And it's like, they arrived a second after you left, you fucking moron.
Exactly.
You explained everything.
Oh, no. I love when they arrived during his struggle session and just took their sweet-ass time to get, like, they must have landed half a country away or something. Like, what the hell took them so long?
Well, they can't sense each
Mog
other.
was fixing his pompadour.
It's not like they have the
Force. They had to iron their robes first because
they did.
Yeah.
They did. But sensing the Force all of a sudden started working again in the final episode. That was magical.
The fact that Venestra is able to sense the bugs like everyone else should have been able to sense. The fact that Venestra is able to sense other Force sensitives like every other Jedi should have been able to sense. So frustrating.
Well, you know what was weird was when they were doing the Sun and Stars thing, and then all of a sudden Jacinto shows up and he's like, you should get going, they can sense you. And it's like, you just have the tracker leading them. It's like none of those discount Jedi that
pick the Virgins and the Force. Why would they not be meditating Force Nexus? Why would they not be meditating on where it is? Why would they have metal detectors and taking soil samples?
It's just stupid because
Radio Shack was going out of business and they got discounts.
It
on
was
all
literally
Leslie says that the witch's powers were amplified because of the planet. So it's well, wouldn't the Jedi's powers be like 10 million times like stronger?
You'd think.
Like the comet in Airbender, they would be. You would think they would be able to tap into the Nexus too and feel it, like Valley of the Jedi is a Force. You would feel that. You would be very. Oh my God, that direction is a vast power.
It's the worst kind of mystery box storytelling. They set up mysteries they had no resolution for. What, dude? Jedi Nepo is the master of Smilo Ren, and they deal with it in a sentence, and they don't even go back and do anything. He stares at her a little bit.
That is pure season 2 bait.
You're still alive.
All that is. Like he was lightsaber whipped. Clearly, like
I thought I whipped you.
I don't know. Yeah.
Did you guys like, by the way, when Soul broke the top half of his lightsaber, he didn't take out the Shoto blade, he just threw the thing.
Yeah, he didn't take his little wang out, and he could have.
He's right.
Yeah, it's true.
It's so fucking annoying. There's so many stupid decisions throughout.
And now with Venestra, it does mean like, oh, I thought I left you for dead. Because like, I thought you were dead, meaning my Padawan turned to the dark side. We had a fight. I killed you and I left you there.
How many times are we going to leave
Jedi? Yes,
bro, they're doing it so much
earlier. Check on a body, for Christ's sake, okay?
No one ever checks anything in this.
This isn't like the prequels where they just had become
Austin Powers. That's what
away from the will of the Force, you know? This is straight up corruption and evil.
My body is bad.
You know, I think, I don't know what's worse, the show or the people that are just constantly defending the show, even though it has all of its plot-breaking points in Star Wars. That's what I don't understand.
This? Like, what has to be broken in your brain to think, like, this is good entertainment right here, man?
How long do you have? Because the list is long.
Yoda was in there.
I mean,
we're eating good, guys. We got Plagueis and Yoda.
Is it as simple as that? It's just like, oh, I saw a glimpse of Yoda from behind. Like, brilliant. 10 out of 10 show for me.
Gary,
that just makes it worse.
Did you guys, when you saw her lightsaber turn red, did you both point at the screen and say red? It's red.
Yes, I did. I did.
Good.
And I put that clip in my video too.
Everybody in our recording did. Obviously, the clip is going to be in there.
Red.
It's red.
Well, it's funny that
Fury died on the inside when I saw that. I was like, oh,
well, it took Vader like so many tries, and he like one of the failed attempts propelled him into the
Ren
wall.
Broke his, right? That's why it was jagged, because he tried to.
Yeah,
and,
and
broke,
she
so
just literally stands there with no facial expression and just starts turning red, and I'm like, okay.
It's the power of female teen angst.
Yeah, that's right.
It just goes beyond all of your understanding.
It was the virgins on that planet.
over the oppressive man who ruined her life.
Yes, queen.
Yeah. Oh, and she had him on his knees.
You bleed that saber.
Yeah.
Stop Asian hate, please.
There's a lot of like there's a lot of men getting on their knees in this show.
Yeah, I didn't know. Oh, I bet they love filming that, right? Yeah.
Oh, with Anastasia
tells Torben, right?
Yes.
And the angle they shot it to, where it's just like it's like kneel, and it's like, what the fuck?
It's about power.
Yeah,
it's about power.
I'm a hero, everyone.
She had her ear to the door.
I love how that was never said to May and Osha. Nobody ever mentioned to them that the fucking Space Witch tried to mind control one of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Why did that never come up?
Because
I'd love to chat
morally
with Leslie Headland. I think that would be a wild stream.
I would too.
Leslie, if you're watching this, you're welcome to
buy that
join
for
us.
$1.
Because like you said, she knows just
enough.
She knows just enough to fool people that don't know anything to think that she knows something. But I think any higher like evaluating of that, it would all fall apart if you asked her the dynamic of anything.
I said this in my review, like any kind of moral framework that you might try to build around this show is fucked, because like the supposed heroes do like the most reprehensible shit and never get called out on it. Like the villains actually do nothing wrong.
I thought you meant who was making it.
Nothing wrong, and he's like the bad guy of this show apparently, who deserved to be punished.
Soul is so fucking frustrating because he never stands up for himself. He never knows how. He's just a weedy little sad person. Yeah,
he's just a little bitch.
Goes through the whole fucking story doing everything right, and he's like, no, I did it wrong again.
It's exactly like watching Joel in The Last of Us 2, right?
Yes.
Again, it's like he could so easily have explained his entire like motivation, exactly why he was in the right, and it's like he just doesn't do it because the writers don't want him to.
Yeah.
But that's every male character in this show, because like Soul is the only sort of interesting character, and he's constantly apologizing for things he didn't even do wrong. Torben's entire motivation was, I want to go home, therefore I should kill myself. And like then we have Jedi Master or Jedi Knight Cole Lesterol, who does nothing. Yord is a fucking narc. Like there is not. Oh, and Mog with the pompadour. That's like the only relevant thing about him. There's not one male character where you go, that's the guy. Like all of them are just mistakes.
They found straight up the most pussy-ish guy on the planet to play Mog. Like
he's so awful.
Please cast barely a male. Okay, and that's find the Barely a Male book, and that's where you're finding.
By the way,
I was under the impression when you get to this stage, when you've been training to become a Jedi for quite some time, you're not emotional, you're not nervous, you're not jittery, you're not like full of all the angst and bullshit that you know that other people might be. you've ascended to a higher plane. And this guy is just like a fucking I don't even know how to describe him. He's a guy who
he's a cupcake. He's a sweetheart.
Yeah, like he needs safety scissors to open his packet of potatoes.
Yeah, like you know, you're like, yeah.
Hello, Mog. Like, what's going on today? He's like, no, she's waiting in the room for you.
Yeah, he looks like, dude.
You let him in to the control room.
Sorry. Yep. No,
he's like a secretary.
Mog was like he works the front desk at the Jedi salon. That's where he needs to work.
Yeah, he's a guy who like struggles with the vending machine for half an hour. Like he's scared of the buttons.
Yeah. Literally.
How did Saul become a master, though? How did Saul become a master if his Padawan failed her training and he is super emotionally compromised that any Jedi should be able to feel the tempest in him?
How did Torben become a master?
Yeah.
I don't know.
RK Outpost, how did he become...
Well, the timelines make no sense, right? Because Torben has been in his thought bubble for like the past 10 years, right? He hasn't spoken to anyone because of the shame of what happened on that planet. But for the other 6 years, he was totally fine, I guess. Like, just went about his business, ascended to the rank of Jedi Master, and then decided, like, you know what? Now I feel really guilty. I'm not going to talk to anyone. And everyone just indulged him. Nobody thought, like, right, we need to take some action here because we can't just have one of our Jedi Masters closing himself off from the entire universe and doing nothing for 10 years. Yeah. We need to send someone out to discipline him or something. Yeah. No, they just let him go.
Black Hole Jedi. Yeah.
Kalnaka was the best one because at least he's a Mad Claw.
Oh God!
Can we actually look back on the 4 deaths? Okay, so Soul basically, for some reason, despite being a Jedi Master, can't counter being force choked whatsoever. And then when he realizes what's happening, he says, "Yeah, kill me." Really fucking lame. Whatever.
It's okay.
Terrible. Go one back. We end up at Kalnaka. All right, yeah, he got sliced up. Why? Well, he got mind raped. And he attacked everybody. He didn't do anything, so he was just killed. It's like, cool. Next up, Torben didn't do anything, killed himself, and then you go back again. Trinity, she only killed the space lesbians because they were mind raping her friend and trying to get him to kill them.
And it was an accident.
I'm looking at this selection like, oh, isn't it interesting? Isn't it morally ambiguous as to what kind of justice they should face? I'm just sitting like, no, they didn't do anything. Like, none of them did anything wrong.
Well, and Soul, I guess he committed unaliving himself by virtue of letting her choke him out. And his sin was caring about her and trying to save her from what he thought at the time was a demon.
That's the last thing he tries to say is, I love you.
I took that as a father, daughter, master, apprentice love, not some of the other ways it's being interpreted.
Like how to be just such a soft piece of shit and just allow yourself to be killed.
Trinity was probably the manliest one.
I think so, yeah. She went out like a boss, at least.
Yeah, she was like more of a Jedi.
She at least tried to like keep herself alive. You know,
Bro,
tried to do
how is Soul a Jedi Master? He's just so emotional and just not composed. You compare any of these characters to Qui-Gon Jinn, and you're like, holy fuck, the discrepancy
to any other Jedi.
Huge. To any Jedi, yeah.
He's super emotionally compromised. He's superly attached. Like, I don't know how you couldn't feel like the anger and regret, and like if you were just walking by him, like, bro, what's going on with you? How was he cleared for field duty? Basically, it's like,
I don't know, man. This is what happens when you get someone who just really doesn't get Star Wars to make Star Wars.
It's the classic paradigm. Like a character is only ever as smart as their writer.
Oh, wow.
Draw your own conclusions there.
You see the writer room video of them, and
no.
It's a TikTok
was there?
It's like some two tape tables and microphone. It's like all of them doing these little jokes and skits.
No, that was not. That was them.
Yeah.
No, that was not them.
Someone, if it's not them, good.
No,
that's bullshit.
Someone else saying that
that's
was
just,
them.
that's just like a bunch of girls being funny in a.
It wasn't them. It was a bunch of girls in an office being funny, and somebody wrote this is the writer's room.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't actually them, but it might as well have been.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Fake news.
Yeah,
got me for a minute if that was them.
No, we were all scared because we're like, we didn't put that clip in our videos. What the hell?
Yeah.
Just before we carry on, I just wanted to read a few super chats because there's a few like big $50 ones that came in while we were talking. So I was going to like answer a couple of them if that's okay. Grendel with that says, ironically, I almost admire Disney consistently lowering the bar from, well, it's not as bad as TLJ to it's as bad as The Rise of Skywalker to as bad as Boba Fett. Oh shit, I've lost it. Oh no, it's gone. No.
You
Hold
fool.
on. I'm going to have to bring it back here. Right. Well, let me bring this up. It was one of those timed out ones. So
a hierarchy of the horrors of Disney.
Yeah, it basically keeps going. Yeah, I'll do a couple others while I work my way back to that one. Cody Griffin for $50 says, I want to tell my son to be brave like Luke, be a bit rebellious like Han, be tough like Leia, be wise and true like Obi-Wan, learn from Anakin's fall and beware of evil and its seduction. But whatever you do not be like anyone in the Acolytes. I'd say that's pretty good advice for life, really, for anyone.
Be like Mog.
Yeah, just be a pussy. Radio Spec says, my abject disappointment of the first on-screen representation of Darth Plagueis being in this dumpster fire is only offset by the amazing encouragement I got from the panel last week on starting a YouTube channel. First video is underway right now. Cheers.
Go.
Awesome, man. Good luck to you. Moses Slack says, Drinker, based on your garb, I see you're trying out for the Secret Service. Good on you. I don't know, man. I feel like I can be better than the fucking chumps on Trump's detail.
He's unqualified, not because he's Scottish, because he's too tall and he's male.
Yeah.
He's white.
And white.
Yeah. You have to be 5'2" and like a woman to be able to be on his detail.
I could be in the Secret Service.
You probably holster your weapon better, though.
Probably.
Yeah, probably, actually. The next one was, let me see if I can find it here. Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
John Gates says, this kind of rhetoric cannot stand. Snarky Jay, you are now, by rule, a toxic male grifter and are required to turn in your gun and your badge and any lady parts. By the way, Plagueis is in this just like Nick Cage is in The Flash, jangling keys with absolutely no dialogue.
I'll send these back where I got them. Obviously, I'm not entitled to them anymore.
The best part of the funeral yesterday was Kathleen Kennedy super chatting throughout the whole 8 hours, and she called everyone incels, including people that weren't there, like you guys. So yes, Kathy got us all. We're all incels for not liking.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, it's not the real Kathleen Kennedy, but it was.
Oh, got it. I'm Canadian. I take things too literally.
No worries, bro.
If Kathleen Kennedy called us all incels, I'm pretty sure you would have heard about it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Super chatted.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I wanted to get some of the super chats read out while they were still hot and fresh off the press. But yeah, I mean, I guess looking at this show and what it's done for Star Wars and what the reaction has been to it, like it's just been almost universal condemnation. Like this seems to be the first show that's had like genuinely abysmal user reviews that everyone seems to have turned against. Like, where does it go from here? What's going to happen in terms of like future projects that they try to bring out? Is this just set the tone now?
You keep asking this. How low can it go?
Yeah,
pretty low. We got a Rey movie coming out, but like this should be it. Because this is Disney Star Wars in its final form. This is everything Kathleen Kennedy has wanted. It's completely ripped of masculinity. It's got moral relativism, no heroism. No masculinity.
What is
zero? And that is required for Star Wars. Sorry to say that.
All franchises at their peak, which would be the number one that would take the longest to bleed dry and kill across, like, many decades? Like, probably would have been Star Wars. That would have been the one that would last the longest through all of this, and that's what we've seen. Star Wars it was fucking popular, man. Star Wars is like ubiquitous with being popular.
Yeah. So not to derail too much, but what do you think about the Marvel getting Russo brothers back in the mix?
Well, I was going to talk about that.
Something like that for Star Wars, where I don't know. Let's say they bring John,
well,
Dave,
who could they bring
and George.
back that could possibly save it?
George.
George isn't going to save it.
George isn't going to come back.
That would be.
George is like 200 years old, and he's like tired, and he just wants to hang out at the local fast food joint and just chill.
So, big difference between Disney Marvel and Disney Star Wars, and I might get some clapback for this because there have been financial successes, but there hasn't been any storytelling successes in Disney Star Wars. You'll have maybe Andor. Some people will kind of be lukewarm on Rogue One. The MCU had a lot of financial and story successes that were universally loved, so they have a much better chance of turning things around. And what I've heard is they're actually making an effort, but they're going to have to go with what they got. Getting the Russo brothers back, it's better for the Russo brothers than maybe even for Marvel, because they suck on their own. But they're good within the MCU, and I think it's a good move. I think it's actually a good move.
It was something I wanted to talk about, actually, the Russo brothers potentially coming back to Marvel. I mean, you know, they've directed some of the biggest hits within the MCU. You know, they certainly wrapped up the Infinity Saga pretty well. If they're brought back, though, to try and salvage something from the multiverse saga, like I struggle to believe that's even a thing at this point. Like,
but
it was
writers
never a saga
or directors? Because if they're just directors, it depends on who's writing their directing, and if it's some of the writers they got now,
Waldron is gone.
Waldron's out. That's some of the best news you could imagine.
They also Marvel fired a bunch of people last year, like quietly. They got you know, there's the ones we knew about, but there's a lot of producers that are gone that are from this era. So they have been trying to clean house. Well, again, with the characters they have left, though, it's going to be really tough.
The team.
I think it's funny when they talked about like the latest, like the upcoming like Avengers movie. They originally had Destin Daniel Cretton, which is just a fantastic name. So he did Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. He bailed out on Kang Dynasty.
Oh my god!
Because it was it wasn't working out. They actually offered it to Sean Levy, and he said no. He's like, nah, I don't want to do this shit, which I think is great.
What you want for the Russos is to get Marcus and McFeely back, right? They're the screenwriters team. On the other hand, right, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, some would say that's an amazing track record. Endgame is like, ugh. So, but you could also say the pressure was enormous with Endgame. But then again, I don't think the pressure is any fucking lower with, you know, an infinite, multiversal, blah, blah, blah. So all I have to say about this is just, I'll give them a shot. I guess I'd prefer them to a lot of the other options.
I think it can't be any worse than what they're doing now. The problem is that when they did, like, I arguably think that Winter Soldier is the best MCU movie as it stands. Civil War and Infinity War were both really good, but the problem is that they were also working with scripts that were really good and characters that mattered. I cannot name one relevant fucking character that's left to do anything. That's the problem. Like,
how dare you? Echo is still out there, Jay.
Yeah,
you're right. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Jesus, like, it's just they wrote off everybody that was relevant, and now, you know, when you don't like a Marvel project, it's because you're an old racist white man. So I'm kind of like, I don't really know that the Russos can reel me back in with this at this point.
Daredevil has yet to truly be ruined in his new version, even though he will probably be ruined. And then,
I'm sorry, did we not see him barefoot walk of shame out of She-Hulk's house after she emasculated him?
Tell me that he did that just so he could get his own series, and it was a walk. It was a strut of pride or something.
No, he had no shoes on.
If there's some kind of award for being a good sport, like Charlie Cox deserves to get it.
He just wants that damn show.
Think about all the shows that have 5, 6, 7 seasons, and then go back and rewatch Daredevil, and they canceled it after 3 seasons. It's unthinkable.
That was such a time of plenty where you could cancel amazing shows like that.
Cancel
and think, with something better is around the corner. No, it fucking wasn't.
One of the best written shows, just overall shows in the last 10 years is Daredevil. Not superhero show, best written shows.
I got a question for Gary, because I don't get to talk to him too much, but what do you think about this new Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings thing? Not to keep derailing. I'm like the freaking derailer here. Sorry. But
I know, like, theory, I had a schedule for this talk.
I'm sorry.
I'll be very quick.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'll give a quick answer. Fine. So he's involved in War of the Rohirrim, which is going to be a bait and switch. It's going to be about Helm Hammerhand's daughter instead of Helm Hammerhand, so fuck that movie. And I don't think he should come back. We just saw Russell T. Davies come back to Doctor Who, and I think it'll probably be something similar. Stay away.
Okay.
Preserve your legacy.
Do you think he would stick by his old statement of, like, we had our own politics, but we didn't want to inject them into this because like that's not the story that we,
people Tolkien wanted
to tell? Yeah, do you think he would stick with that, or is he going to be like, we need
War
to make it
the
relevant
Rohirrim
for a modern audience?
Isn't that his writing partners, Philippa Boyan and all that? Like, they're the ones that are doing that?
Writing War of the Rohirrim, the anime that's coming out, that I was really looking forward to until I found out it was a giant bait and switch. So that kind of severs any hope I had.
Yeah.
Because on the note of the Russos coming back, I thought that you might have referenced how Russell T coming back was a fucking nightmare for Doctor Who. So maybe,
and the same thing could happen too. People change. It depends who the writers are. It depends with Marvel. It depends on who the producers are. It's
for reference, by
that
the
is
way,
produced content.
Russell T came back. He's like the essentially Jesus level writer for Doctor Who in the modern age, along with David Tennant, who's considered one of the favorite Doctor Who's, and it's. What they created is practically bashed by everyone, not just
it's
not
an
just
abomination.
Like myself, Gary, and the spheres surrounding us. We're talking about every fucking everyone I know who even likes it have had to say publicly, "I can't be that critical of this because I know Russell T myself." And it's like, oh shit, it was awful, complete failure. So yeah, I don't know. Feels like we're in a interesting time.
In this, theory, I don't want anything made of things I like right now. I don't want any character, like any Star Wars fan going, I want Plagueis. No, you don't. You don't want Plagueis in this. You don't want to mention. Just wait.
Stay away from Revan. Stay away from Kyle Katarn. Please, anyone that has been hit yet, please don't adapt them.
Well, they kind of did the Revan thing in this one too with the mind wipe. Hey.
Yep, I noticed. I was like, oh, they Revaned her. They erased her memories.
What the deal? Like, why didn't you just use that when you're fighting someone? Just mind wipe them.
You have to concentrate uninterrupted attack for 30 seconds.
Like in a saber lock, and then you're just like
roll a crit.
What happened?
Well, dude, can anyone explain to me why the fuck they couldn't leave together, the three of them?
That's what I said.
I said this in my review. I was like, okay, here's a crazy idea. Like, you all go together, and then like at the end, like when you're in a safe place, way away from all this, just go your separate ways. And,
bro, you got twins willing to walk off with you. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why'd you send one back?
You have one person, one spirit, and two bodies, so train both of them.
Technically, it's not
is it because his ship seemed to have just two cockpits and that's it? Like, that's all.
The Mandalorian problem. He only has one spot
so
back
smaller. We called it. We knew they were going to do some sort of mind wipe or stupid shit to explain some of this because. For Star Trek,
clever because at the end, the good one is now with the Sith, and the bad one is now with the Jedi.
She doesn't remember anything, so she's obviously not guilty of the murder. She doesn't remember.
She only has her memories from when she's 8. So is she she's like an 8-year-old kid just in a grown body? How is she going to help Vanessa do anything?
I hate Disney right now.
They can just give her a coloring book and call it a fucking day.
She has those memories, though. I thought he was wiping everything of her sister. So it's down to when she was 8.
Yeah.
The thing
is, why doesn't she talk like an 8-year-old? That would have been funny as hell, dude.
So painful.
Just start fighting each other.
But as well. By the way,
she was 8.
If any of you were faced with the concept that someone was about to wipe your memory of someone you've known your whole life and someone you've known in the past few years of the most developed parts of your life, just wipe it on the spot, and you just go, okay. It's like he is about to kill you.
Yeah, literally.
You will not exist as you were.
What if he wipes her too hard, for lack of a better
I was going to say, like
becomes retarded by the end of this. She forgets all her motor skills.
What if he doesn't wipe her hard enough? How can he know? What they can unwipe her?
Well, no. Remember that line where she's like, find me or something. She's like, I will find you or whatever.
Well, because Revan obviously sort of wears off eventually, right?
Obviously, season 2, she's gonna start like getting her memories back or something like that, and then she's gonna be like,
"The season 2 Star Wars."
It'll happen.
It's happening, Gary. It's happening. It's happening.
You know what's so fucking stupid about this as well, right? They didn't even have to wipe her memory anyway. Like, just take off, fucking fly away to a place that you didn't tell her you were going to. That's it. She can't tell you. She can't tell the Jedi anything. She can't tell them where you're going. Where they can find you, anything.
But it's so much more dramatic if they erase her memory and then let Amandla Stenberg pretend that she knows how to cry.
The problem is, right, Smilo doesn't like her because she exposed him, quote unquote, but he's willing to let her go as long as her memory is wiped. Just take her with you. She can hang out on the planet and do other stuff while you train with Osha. She can
just have fun with Darth Plagueis, you know. Like,
exactly. Play Tetris with him or something. Chess. They'd probably figure it out.
Wipe our minds of this show, please.
Yeah, where's a Men in Black, like, neuro whatever when you need it?
Hey, this is my neuralizer.
Oh,
yeah.
Stitch, please.
Shows like this are why I drink. Let me just read out this super chat that came in as we were doing.
What the hell?
John Gates said, Kevin Feige watching the show. How the fuck can she not like it? We gave her Kate Bishop, Echo, Shuri, Jane, Thor, She-Hulk, Sylvie, and multiple Marvels. how many how many more OP chips do I have to throw at these women before they like the thing that they used to like? I know it's
you only named like 7% of the new Marvel heroes. So.
Yeah, what about Marvel's Katie? Come on, man.
Hell yeah,
misogynist.
It's almost as if jangling women in front of women is not what we want. Like, I was happy when it was mostly men. That was fine.
I didn't mind Kate Bishop. She wasn't like see you next Tuesday to Clint, and like she sort of revered him. Like it was the least of course, then she like girl boss to Kingpin, and that was the thing. But overall, her relationship wasn't horrible. Haley is nice enough, Steinfeld.
But I mean, like rather than all those shit characters that no one likes, just give us one good female character that like is genuinely brilliantly written and is really likable. That'd be great, and everyone will flock to them.
You're asking for
fine.
When was the last
you can't
one?
even accomplish that.
And it's like they're not even trying realistically, because Black Widow's movie wasn't great and it came after she was dead, so nobody gave a shit. And when you consider the fact when you consider the fact that Black Widow is such an inherently complicated character, but they reduced all her problems in Age of Ultron to her being sterilized, like it was like the only thing that mattered was that she had lady parts, which we can't call lady parts anymore, but whatever. That was my whole fucking point. You're not even trying to write relevant women. Like it's the whole I can do this in heels and you can't. Like what the fuck? Can we write something of quality here?
There's so many different versions of Black Widow within the MCU. Like, there's the really bland, generic girl boss type that we got in Iron Man 2. Then there's the, like, really interesting, well-developed character that we got in the first Avengers movie. Then, like you say, there's the fairly one-dimensional, oh, I'm sad because I got sterilized and I'm a monster now. So that's all we got in Age of Ultron. And then it's just been kind of, like, fluctuating all over the place ever since then. You know, we got a nice character that could play well off.
She was
Captain America.
I liked her in Winter Soldier a whole bunch.
Yeah.
She was great in Winter Soldier.
She played well off Steve Rogers in that, which was an interesting aspect of her character.
But even then, they could have delved so much deeper into her, because in the comics, she was in the Red Room and Bucky was like, they were a big deal. And they literally, it was a throwaway line in Civil War when she says, you could at least recognize me. And they could have literally formed an entire movie almost around her based solely on the content in the Red Room. But no, we got the Marvels.
Remember when Bucky was an interesting character that they were going to do something with? I like
it. Yeah, I was a Bucky stan for years. So there's nobody more bitter about this shit than I am.
I mean, he's just the most important part of two huge movies. I mean, it was the obvious setup.
He's the secondary protagonist of the Cap trilogy. He's the one that's being built up alongside Cap. He's like, he's ready.
No, he just he just has to apologize for being white now. That's it. That's his only role.
Just give Sebastian Stan a Luke Skywalker show and let's stop playing around.
So you mean you're not excited for Captain Black America Man, Brave New World Order, or whatever they're going to do with it now?
It's Captain African American.
Sorry,
and can't wait.
What was it? What's the budget now? Like 700 million,
at least.
Ridiculous.
At least.
Well, they said 4, right? And then you do that thing where you add in what they're spending on advertising.
Can somebody ask Red Letter Media how many starving children in Africa that would feed?
You could fucking cure Africa of everything with the budget of this fucking movie.
I was going to say, they're going to have to reshoot now after a certain world event that took place. Have you seen the fucking trailer? It's like,
yeah.
That movie and Snow White are both, I think, around the same in what they've spent on reshoots, and it's probably going to make about as much back. Not that much.
No, not coming. It's coming out in February, and they're trying to duplicate the success of Black Panther because it's Black History Month, right? So it's releasing on Valentine's Day. That's exactly what they're doing. That's why they want that February.
I think Wakanda Forever proved that you're not going to replicate the success of Black Panther.
Yeah, no, do the Valentine's Day commercials.
But that's not going to stop a 23-year-old marketing executive who graduated in women's studies to give it a shot. So we'll see.
I think if I was in charge of making Marvel movies, I would mandate that they can't have a budget of more than $100 million each.
Agreed.
Like $100 million is all you get, because
and that counts the catering.
That's a lot.
Because if they can make 400, 500 million globally, like that's it. You're in profit right there. And that's the realm that you're sort of aiming for at this point with the MCU.
You know how they could do that? Go back to the street level superheroes. You don't have to have this big bombastic galactic event that's supposed to be rare. Just, you know, I've always said this about DC. Make a Batman TV series. You don't need to make Batman movies. Batman runs around the city. He doesn't need a bunch of special effects. Have him solving crimes with Robin in his prime with his rogues gallery of villains. It's the easiest slam dunk in the history of time, and they won't fucking do it.
I think Batman is most boring when he's with the Justice League. Like, if they just gave us Batman doing his inner city Gotham shit, that would be much more interesting than him and Superman arguing over their mom's names. Like, all you have to do is give me a good show.
1940s. There's only been Batman for 2 weeks. How about that? It's that Cape Crusader thing coming out. It's the Cape Crusader with Asian Harley Quinn.
You mean woke animated Batman?
It's Bruce Timm.
Produced by Jar Jar Abrams. That erases the Bruce Timm. There's no Paul Dini. Yeah, no, it's gonna suck.
Hey Gary, was there ever a comic where Batman got superpowers for like a moment?
Yes, there's multiple. Yes.
Oh shit.
How'd that work out? Green Lantern rings. There's a lot of times he, not every time, but there are times he's saying it's not good if I have superpowers.
I like that he recognizes he's insane, because I feel like if somebody gave me superpowers, I would fucking like destroy something as well. So I think it's for the best.
I'd abuse that like shamelessly.
I think it's for the best that nobody in here is ever given a position of power or a Green Lantern ring, because it would be problematic.
But I would be a benevolent dictator, so that's at least that.
I think that's an oxymoron. Benevolent dictator.
People
they have existed apparently.
Being a dictator sounds exhausting.
I'll force you to do stuff, but I'll be nice about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, didn't Hancock like touch on that very same idea? Like, what if you had a superhero who was just kind of an asshole? And he didn't really
you know what the original script was for that? Because I know the guy who wrote the original script. Well, I know the guy's brother. It was about. It's called Hancock, because it's about a superhero who couldn't get his nut. It was the most sought after screenplay for 2 years in Hollywood. And then when Will Smith got it, he completely rewrote it. But that's how it started out.
Is that why it falls apart in the second half and turns into
exactly why it falls apart in the second half. But there was people trying to producers just going to war over that script.
Over Hancock?
Over Hancock, yes. At the time, it was one of the most sought after scripts in Hollywood.
Why? So that would have been like The Boys, basically, like 10 years.
Yes, it was very much like
it
was very much wanted of the boys of that time. It was very,
I didn't watch the final Boys episode yet. I still got to do it. Cobra Kai came out last night too, and I
watched the first episode this morning.
Is Cobra Kai out now?
Yeah,
I watched half of the first episode. That was
why am I even here? I'm fucking
before Chosen and Johnny.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai is really good.
It's great. I'm gonna watch the rest today.
Yeah, it took me a while to watch it, but it's good once you watch it. And you can.
It kind of lost me.
It just makes me feel happy every time I watch it. Like, I cannot describe it. Like, there's just such like enthusiasm and joy behind what they made with this.
Great. I just hope that they don't make Chosen too goofy again. That's my complaint with season 3.
Yeah, I get where you're.
5.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from with that.
Well, they're kind of dealing with that in the first episode a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
I think it was fine as a one-off gag where it's like, because he was this super intense like antagonist from the second movie, and then it's like, oh, he's come back now and he's a nice guy now. He's kind of goofy and he's kind of quirky and whatever, but there needs to be a bit of an edge to him as well.
First episode, I'm halfway through. He's there's something going on there.
Thank the gods for shows like this and House
building
of
up
Dragon.
some conflict. That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
which is good.
Like, Cobra Kai is legit one of those shows that just blindsided me. I never expected it to be like anything less than an absolute embarrassment. Like,
it's
when they
total fantasy. I love how it's a total fantasy of like karate still being. It's like a 80s popularity in modern times.
It's genius.
It really does capture like this. Well, what Southern California used to be, the vibe of Southern California.
I used to go to karate classes, like just random karate fights with your friends.
It exists in this beautiful middle ground between like the real world and like fantasy world, where characters kind of acknowledge, like, isn't it weird that like everyone's so obsessed with karate all of a sudden, and it's like deciding like the fate of like Southern California somehow, and yet somehow like they just embrace it at the same time, and it just becomes this great struggle for the ideological soul of like the whole country. It's amazing. It's so stupid but so brilliant at the same time.
William Zabka is awesome. Man, Johnny Lawrence is great. Yeah,
I met him at a con last year, I think it was, and he was such a nice guy. Like, he was legit, like, so chill. He would honestly talk to you for ages, and he was like genuinely interested in like whatever you were doing, whatever you were working on, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, like, honestly, he seems so grateful for the success that they've had with this, and it's just such a cool thing to see.
Dude. Imagine you kind of like a star in the '80s, for Karate Kid, and then you're immortalized through this movie for like the next 40 years or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden you're back.
Yeah.
And you get to replay the role, but now like in this part of your life.
And from YouTube, which at first it was like, what's
I know.
YouTube? It was back in the day. It was like, what's YouTube Red?
YouTube?
Yeah.
I was
turned into this
huge Karate Kid fan, and I was the first Cobra Kai channel in the world, and I created that channel. I had so much fun with it, and they just kept going, and I kind of fell off with season 5 because I just felt like it got a little bit too goofy, and I didn't like that. And I was like, all right.
Great premise.
The whole... Yeah, Mike Barnes and Chosen. It just got too goofy there at the end, and I'm like, well, I hope that they turn it around with season 6. But we'll see.
Hilary Swank will show up.
Maybe.
Honestly, I think she'd be up for it. One of my
Everybody
criticisms,
else has.
I think
Everyone else has. Yeah.
I think one of my criticisms was just like sometimes when they focus too much on the younger characters, the actors aren't always the best, and like they don't quite know what to do with all of them, and some of them are really shit at fighting, and so when you see them having to do like karate moments, it's like, oh, this is a bit embarrassing. But like when you get those moments between Daniel and Johnny and stuff, like that's just pure gold. And they play off it so well.
Gonna make videos on Cobra Kai? I think you should.
I already have. Like I think season 1 got a drinker recommends for me.
Cool. I would probably do one at the end of the season to recommend the entire series. That would be when it's all said and done. I'll do a retrospective. I'd do that for sure.
Yeah,
there's another.
It deserves the love for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish my only regret this year is not doing one on The Gentleman. Damn it.
Oh, that was like a 10 out of 10 show that reminded us, like, oh, we can make masterpieces.
That was a really nice surprise, that show.
Yeah,
not a wasted moment or character. And it was like every other show that failed to make you feel anything. I was like, there's no excuse. What the hell? I felt everything for everyone, and every hour feels like 3 hours.
Oh, The Gentleman's on Netflix. Watch it. It's
in
great.
a good way.
Yeah. It's honestly really good.
What's
The Gentleman and Shogun came about like round about the same time, and it was like, holy shit, we're getting like bathed in like fantastic TV right now. It's like great stuff.
We've actually gotten some pretty good shows this year. There's one coming out, I think today too, the Anthony Hopkins Roman one.
The Roman one,
on Peacock. I'm going to check it out.
Did I get entertained? You will be entertained, or weird,
Or those who choose to die. I think
those who choose. That was one of the things.
Gary, did I get you to watch Blue Eye Samurai?
I started. I haven't finished. You did get me to start.
Yeah, watch it. You'll very much enjoy it. I do recommend.
I have to do Arcane too soon.
Yeah, review Arcane. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Actually,
House of the Dragon fucking rules though right now.
So good.
It's been going great.
Made dragon fights like disturb me, like with the slashing of the talons, like the uncomfortable feeling in a fight. Like, oh, that was well done. I felt that.
I was so fucking satisfied with both of those fights. Like it was everything I was hoping for. It wasn't just goofy nonsense slash into two figures together. It felt very, very specific in how they portrayed every last move, which was satisfying to watch. Even Melee's using Vega's weight against her, crashing down. That shit was cool.
Yep.
I think as well, like it makes you understand as well, the dragons themselves are living creatures, and like when they get like injured and torn apart and stuff, like they are animals that are suffering. And
the blood,
it's horrific and impressive at the same time when you watch them fight each other.
That poor boy.
Oh, just like
the fact that you can have sympathy for this giant flying lizard whose blood will boil you and can set you on fire is phenomenal. It's really good.
Yeah,
how they did that.
Because when you're watching them fight each other, like like you say, like one of them's getting torn apart, and like the blood like falls on the soldiers underneath and like melting them, and like instead of thinking like, oh my god, those poor soldiers, you're like, I feel sorry for the dragon.
Well, and Cole is all traumatized. Now I understand though, like why he had that war stare of like he saw everyone got melted.
He saw what war with dragons looks like, and this is unique because it's dragons fighting dragons. So Westeros has not seen that.
And did you get Darth Vader vibes at the end when they're taking the armor off of him and he's all burned and it was very
that they changed that from the book. The Valerian steel armor.
Said
yeah,
this, MauLer.
Not there.
You told this.
Oh, sorry, but I didn't. Yeah, no, I did. I got like just vibes of like, oh, when they're taking the Valerian steel and it's sticking to his skin. I was like, I expected Anakin to go back and yell at one of the droids. Like, so
yeah,
well
that was
done.
funny. I spoke to a couple of people after I'd seen it. I was like, so Aegon's alive because they haven't shown a death. But a couple of people I spoke to were like, no, he's dead, definitely dead. I was like, I don't think so. Main reason is because of how much you can miss out on if you kill him. Like the amount of drama that there'll be now that he's not quite dead, you know?
It really seemed like he should have died, considering he fell from like 1,000 feet and a dragon
we
landed on him and then exploded.
We didn't quite see it. We don't
I had
really
canon
know
that
what
she
happened.
like sort of slowed the fall and he rolled.
But you said to me like when we were talking about this offline, and you were like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if like his armor was melted into his skin and it was all stuck?"
That's
to
what
him
happens in the
and
book.
Yeah,
so
well,
gnarly.
So I was saying, because it's like it's perfect for his obsession with being Aegon the Conqueror, right? That like a cruel turn of fate is that the armor he put on to appear more like him gets melted into him. I was like, that's fucking great. So I still think what they did was really good, though.
So he's just gonna be bedridden, or he's gonna be on like milk of the poppy the rest of his? Because how can he?
Well, we'll see, I guess.
It's like how can he walk?
Also, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it.
Oh, I'm not. I don't know. I haven't read the books. I'm just assuming that like that's the only pain medication they have, right? Like, what would you do if you? That's what I would
Pretty
do.
much, yeah. That's all they
Milk
could
of the
give
poppy.
to,
I would just
lay
be
it
like,
on me.
Strong
wine, dream wine, milk of the poppy. Keep it coming. Well, especially after resetting his leg. Whoa,
that was gross.
That was the one that got me.
Yeah. Nope. Just let someone else run, and I'll spend my days trying not to scream in pain.
Let me just read another super chat here that came in. Warland says Disney's answer to their IPs is to throw money at it. Battlestar Galactica is arguably my favorite show of all time, and they had no budget. It's weird how that made them actually have to rely on good storytelling and acting to make an incredible show. I assume you mean the Battlestar Galactica remake, but
the first one maybe had no budget. Didn't the remake have a budget?
The remake had
the remake did, yeah.
Very tiny budget, a very tiny budget that was shot in Canada. Largely, I mean, it was just on sets, but it was phenomenal. Great special effects. And they're doing another remake with Sam Esmail, the guy who did.
That's still happening?
Yeah. So he did Mr. Robot, and he did that horrible Obama-produced video on Netflix. What was it called again? The one where the ship like grounds up on the beach, and it's about.
Oh yeah, it's like the end of the world, isn't it? Where all the technology goes down.
Yep.
Oh, right.
What's that called?
Where they said you can't trust white people. That one.
Yeah, because it's like their stayed at a vacation home or something.
It was called.
Like
wasn't it Leave Everything Behind?
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
So forgettable. I completely forgot the time.
We left it behind.
Yes, yeah, we left it behind.
Ironic.
I fell asleep during it. So.
Yeah,
ironic. Theory, please do a Plagueis skit. It was your skits have been so good lately. Sorry, when I said ironic, it made me think of you.
I know it. I've had a bunch of ideas.
You gotta.
I'm
honestly
gotta,
just, dude.
I know. I'm just honestly like
when he did the hand all creepy. I was like, oh, Theory's gonna start memeing on this.
Please go out and bring back some toilet paper when you come back.
Yes.
I'm just I'm just pissed off. I'm like,
let the hate flow.
You know,
you.
I was doing the watch party. I was like, check on Theory, please make sure.
I saw some people being like,
he's saying like, is he all right?
Nerdrotic is checking up on you. I know, and then I saw your tweet, and I'm like, oh, I love my friends. Nice.
It's all we have left, dude, is making fun of it and laughing.
There's no reason for that thing to be in there. You remove it, it changes absolutely nothing.
Dude, not at all.
Like there was, it almost felt like it was an afterthought. It's like, oh my god, yeah, we didn't hit with the analytics or the marketing. We need.
Isn't he supposed to be 10?
I wouldn't be surprised if she literally put that in like the last like 3 weeks.
Oh, and the CG was dog shit. It was terrible. It was
horrible,
freaking awful. But they only had $180 million, so
it's not much
hard on them.
Yeah, that's why they couldn't afford the second Wookiee fight too with Smilo. Is it just couldn't afford it?
They couldn't train the guy who played the Wookiee.
Yeah.
He was just hacking and slashing. I was like, oh, man.
It's insane.
I still think it should have been Rey in that cave at the end there, just poking out.
Oh, dude. Rey and Ahsoka.
Traveled back.
Rey and Ahsoka, both together. Holding hands.
Don't worry. Rey will rebuild the Jedi Order. do all those things those
I
toxic
think,
men
honestly,
couldn't
like,
do.
Yeah.
we're gonna get to the next movie, and like one of those space whales is just gonna show up and then vomit out Rey and Ahsoka, and like,
yeah.
Then they'll just start
Like
fighting people
in-game,
immediately.
but it'll just
And
be,
Reva and Osha and May's walking around wandering like she has no memory of anything.
Jedi.
Oh
We
my
have
god.
finally killed all the men. The universe is perfect.
Sabine Wren will walk up, she'll have
We
a
told you.
lightsaber just sticking out of her. Like,
Told you the force is
constantly.
female.
Like, hey guys. No, that's
Oh
supposed
my
to be there.
Look what they've done to us.
I know, yeah, they destroyed.
I think this is the funniest shit I've seen all year. Like, I have not laughed this hard watching a TV show in a long time. And I hope we get a season 2. I'm actually behind Disbro on this one. I'm going to support this hashtag. As a matter of fact, I'll do it right now. Screw it.
I've completely separated. So Star Wars is 2012 before Disney took over. It's not going forward. It's frozen, but it's still there. And this is just Disney Star Wars. And all we can do is laugh at it. And maybe one day.
This feels almost as bad as when Michael Bay like brought Mark Wahlberg into Transformers, and they just got even worse. Like, except this is genuinely devastating. Like, my robot fixation doesn't matter. Star Wars is family. Like, this
if
is
she
bullshit.
gets KOTOR 2, if she somehow gets KOTOR 2, that will actually kill me.
Oh, they'll let her do it. I promise.
Well, yeah, because now they double down. That's what they do. So the more backlash from the toxic side. They're just going to be like, okay, yeah, let's
that's him.
Let's fund this, because we stand for something. It's like, all right,
bro, I'll be watching your Vader films instead. I'll be watching other people doing real Star Wars, George Lucas pre-Disney Star Wars. Unfortunately, that's where my future Star Wars, that's actual Star Wars, will come from.
Well,
yeah, me too.
There was a tweet that went viral just recently, and it was like, I'm so sick of this whole like Disney Star Wars thing. It's all just Star Wars. And
nope.
Like
No,
the reaction is like, no, it's not. There's a very clear dividing line between like what Star Wars used to be and what Disney have turned it into. And that line started around 2015 with The Force Awakens. Those things are not the same. They are different takes on a property.
Yep.
Different universe for sure.
It's always worth calling it out because like, yeah, like what you're going to get with a Disney Star Wars product. You're going to
Keep
get
Star
shit.
Wars out your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, dead name Star Wars.
Literally.
It's Disney Star Wars.
Yeah. Stop dead naming it.
Yeah.
It's alive. It's over its own thing now. Forever preserved.
Real quick, a comedy legend died today. He was 94, but this guy was
Bob
Newhart died today.
Oh man.
Oh. R.I.P. Bob.
Yeah. He had his second series had top 3 best finale of a series of all time, up there with MASH and All Good Things with Star Trek. So he and his wife wake up and they in a Vermont like inn, right? So he wakes up with he had 2 Newhart shows. So at the end of the second Newhart show, he wakes up with the wife from the first Newhart show and goes, "Oh, that was a crazy dream." So the whole season 2 was a dream. It was a freaking brilliant ending. Rest in peace, Bob. And he's an elf for all the young people out there.
He is.
That's what we should do.
That's where I know him from.
Wait, was he Will Ferrell's dad in that?
Yeah,
like,
he's Papa
elf father.
It's been a lot of good stuff.
Dude was a legend, absolute legend.
I didn't even know he was still alive. Like, because he was
94
old even back then.
Yeah.
Damn.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Bob Newhart.
So we do that, but we just have Luke waking up the day after Return of the Jedi, and he was meditating, and always in motion is the future, and he just saw a bunch of horrible things, and he changed it all. There we go.
The thing is, like, I don't think Mark Hamill would even want to play that. He's like
Sebastian
a
Stan.
company man these days.
I am all for it. Like, so the last card Disney has to play when they're done fucking with the EU and pissing off the last few prequel fans, because they're way past us OT fans right now, is remaking the prequels and the original trilogy in order, recasting. And at this point, I am all for recasting.
He said it for years, and they'll do it.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to have to do it. It's the only thing they have to play. They've destroyed everything, and including their merchandising. If they want to revitalize their merchandising, that would be the way to do it. It would be a huge splash. It would piss all of us off. It would piss most Star Wars fans off, but a lot of normies would go, ooh. So, and that's all they have left. What are they going to do? They haven't made a freaking movie since the Rise of Skywalker.
Dude, it's like George built a tower in Lego, and then they started attaching their pieces at the top.
Yes.
But they literally made it go out one side only, and it's going to stacking and heavier until it's going to snap, and the whole thing will fall off. But the tower itself will be fine.
Did you guys see like Echo Chamberlain's video that he just put out like today, and it was describing the entire story of Star Wars with all of the Disney editions on
it's so
and
good.
it's the absolute most insane bullshit you'll ever hear.
I don't know how it gets greenlit.
Echo Chamberlain is my kind of autism. Hell, bro.
Yeah. Because he does it so dead serious, like he's trying to make the best that he can out of this. It's amazing. Yeah, I do recommend that one. A. Marcellus also said, theory, you need to write a fan fiction where the next Star Wars movie starts with Rey slipping off a cliff and Anakin and Luke rematerialize from the Force to rebuild the Jedi Order, a father and son story.
Overton window. They opened
Sounds
it.
great. Yeah. Well, we could with the World Between Worlds now and all the Force powers, but yeah, sure.
How long until May and Osha show up in it with a little vial of poison for them to drink to apologize for being men?
Their white guilt.
Have the next trilogy, the fucking Sith is Darth Retcon, and if he kills you, it removes you from the fucking storyline.
Have Deadpool and Wolverine take a detour in the Star Wars universe and prune out all the Disney characters and then go back into their
Red Dwarf did a character like this, where like he's the antagonist and he just goes back and finds worthless people in history and just erases them from the timeline. Like he replaces them with like their better twin or whatever. And it's like,
Retcon added to Slurple
what are you
lore.
doing? Guy comes, just erases them.
Did you like that? Did you like that line from Jedi Master Nepo? I felt like Leslie Headland wrote this before she wrote the series and just wanted to fit it in. This is all the work of one flawed man.
Yes.
Oh,
which totally doesn't mean anything else.
No.
So if you're reading anything else into that,
no, I wouldn't.
Jeez.
So
Leslie, we're not all like Harvey.
No,
we're not. Didn't make any fucking sense to me. I thought Venestra's motivation was to protect the Jedi Order's standing with the Senate by preventing them from knowing that a Jedi is fucking with them all. It's like, okay. So she's like, we got to make sure they don't find out until we kill whoever it is that's killing the Jedi. And at the end of this fucking nightmare, she decides to frame one of the Jedi as having killed all of the Jedi. How is that
her lie is worse?
Her lie is worse than simply saying there is a mysterious stranger who is killing the Jedi, and he was not brought in by the Jedi Order, and if he had been, this wouldn't be happening. Meaning the Jedi is a really fucking good and stable system, and whatever he's a part of is a nightmare crazy thing, and we should stop him. Because someone, it's been said, it's like, well, she's protecting herself. It's like she has to go and kill him no matter what.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what story she sells, she has to go and get him.
She has to go kill him and Basil.
It's with everything they told us about her from her motivations from as far back as episode 1, nothing makes any fucking sense by the time we get to the end. And that applies to all characters, of course.
Yes.
It drives me nuts.
Her lie is worse than the truth, and it ironically got exactly what they didn't want, Senate oversight.
Exactly. The whole meeting after she gets her whole fucking cover up, right at the end of the meeting, they're like, right, so we're doing the investigation. It's like, oh shit.
So when people say what was the point, like what was the actual point, the end result is the Jedi got oversight from the Senate, and Force is possible now with creation of a Force Virgins magic and
like why the fuck didn't she tell Yoda? Or any of the High Council. Why?
And we don't know what she said.
Because they're trying to safeguard the continuity in their heads. Because it's like, well, if this is confined to this like one character who knows everything now, she'll eventually die, and then no one else is going to know what happened here.
She barged in. Hey, we need to talk. All right. What, you want to talk about the 15 Jedi that have died?
I made an oopsie.
I already hate that Yoda's just chilling out. He's not like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, somebody has to go and tell him
Jedi
if
have
she's
died.
telling him
What
at
the
all.
hell?
Yeah,
I'd
like
surprise
tender your resignation, you will.
Yeah, because in the first book that I did read of High Republic, that I did not read any further. He's on a sabbatical somewhere, so that explains why he's not like so
just like chilling on the beach.
He was there in core. How did his theory says? How did he not feel the many deaths and lies and
a dozen Jedi dying? I think you'd feel it.
Yeah,
you'd feel one.
I would buy him not feeling one for something, but. Even though he's felt one in meditating before, he would have felt all of those deaths eventually.
All of them.
I buy that. Yeah.
especially because like this is a time where war, like he's not clouded by all the deaths around.
There's no
the Clone Wars, or
clouding the dark side, right? It should still be the Jedi should still be in tune with the Force at this point.
It hasn't happened in so long. It would feel like something significant.
100%.
And it's because they weren't in tune with the thread, which is apparently the Force 2.0. They just didn't have it in them.
It's the dark web of the Force. Is the thread.
Like I imagine he knew Soul. Like why wouldn't he? You would probably know all the Jedi Masters.
I hate the show, dude.
Yeah.
I think this was my favorite tweet about this. It's like, hey, they've got old Grogu in this show.
Old Grogu.
That's probably what someone put it really well, that they call these new Disney fans that like just came in and think they know everything about the prequels and all that stuff tourists.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a great way of putting it.
Exactly. That's
a term we've had in
for a little bit of time,
long time,
yeah, it's one of those things where it's so complicated if you know what you're talking about. Like if you were to tell me that, okay, in Disney Star Wars, magic does exist because Leslie says it. So, okay, in Disney Star Wars, fine. If you were to get like the best people that know everyone here and Ryan from RK Outpost and Thor Skywalker and say, okay, figure out exactly what the Force is, figure out exactly what magic is, figure out how they interact and how they counterbalance, we would be hard pressed to do it. And that's being experts and knowing all the lore. And instead, we got Leslie and Pablo.
Yeah. Well, they're probably going to find a way to cancel Yoda now too. He's probably going to be like
problematic.
Messed up you have, green you are, green I am. Grogu.
I think it should be a protected category or something. Sure. Like,
yeah, bro, he was. We need to talk. Yes, we do.
I want a bunch of lines like that from him, and then when she reveals everything that happens, he pauses, the camera just tightens up on him. He's like, "What the fuck?" What? That flatly.
Well, someone had the best like response to this, like in chat there, where it was like, "Fucked up, you have.
Yes.
Fired, you are.
Fired, you are."
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, shit, you will. Mm-hmm.
No, but like all of these Jedi have to die within the next 80 years. So, no, it's just so.
Certainly, Basil, man, he's gonna ruin everything otherwise.
Bro, that guy is more powerful than all of them. He's literally leading the band of shit Jedi to like,
oh my god,
Osha and May. When the other guy's like, the Jedi can sense you. It's like, well, no, they can't. I guess.
They were really fucking pleased with that character as well. Like they just kept bringing him in, like he was like a 2-minute cameo. That's all he should have been worth. It's like, damn, he just becomes a central plot thread for this fucking joke of a show.
Literally.
Maybe that's where the $180 million went.
Maybe.
You know, animating the little guy.
Basil's mocap suit.
If Basil has 100 haters, I'm one of them. If he has one hater, it's me. If he has no haters, I'm dead. Like I fucking hate Basil.
Fuck Basil. Fuck Basil.
I honestly
would have
paid. I would have paid like at least 10 grand of my own money just to see Saul space him.
Yeah,
fucking like push him into an airlock, like shove him out into space. Fuck you,
just like
you
mini
little
me.
gerbil face.
Dude, when she ran into that fucking when she ran into the escape pod, Soul could have grabbed her with the Force. It was driving me nuts the amount of times he just doesn't use it.
Oh yeah,
could have grabbed the kids too and not let them fall.
You know, Jedi
bridge scene.
He just gets nerfed all the time.
Could have grabbed his lightsaber.
He missed at the end when she was running towards the escape pod. He could have just pulled her back, and he did.
I don't know.
He could have
I don't know if you
Dude,
guys noticed
he's running.
the set design here, but like when she seals up the escape pod and blasts away, like he tries to grab the handle to like open the hatch again, and the whole wall wobbles when he does it.
Oh no!
It's so fucking cheap.
Budget.
That's almost as offensive as the helmet flexing as it goes over her dreads when she puts it on.
Oh, that's
really?
a not fit. Yeah.
Holy if you focus when she's putting on Smilo Ren's helmet, like you literally see it bow out because they didn't even make it out of resin. It's literally fucking rubber or something.
Oh, $99 if you want to get it on Amazon. The Black Series, they're actually doing it. I didn't think it would get funded.
Somebody showed up to my table at SuperCon dressed as Smilo Ren, like as a joke, and I was like, "Please just walk away. Like I don't even have it to deal with this right now. I love you, but I can't. Like no, this can't follow me at work.
Snarky, you can be my May.
Yeah, I bet that's what they were doing. Good God.
Sonny Close says the Acolyte is terrible, not just because it pushes the message, but it's the only show that I'm aware of that was written as if they assumed that the audience believed it. You can't make moral sense of anything without presuming leftist nonsense is true. It's moral relativism, really.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
nobody is good or bad.
So it was pointed out by Forbes. I forgot his last name, Eric at Forbes. He made a great point on this. So Leslie Headland apparently doesn't believe any of this crap. She's just writing it to get along, to get jobs, like a lot of them are. So that's why it's poorly written material for the message. It's poorly written for the
she's based message. Secretly.
She used to be.
Yeah, I read that.
But she used to be freaking normal. We'll just say normal person. And she's not anymore. Or she's just going along to get along. But this is written by somebody who's a poser on both sides, who can't. That's why it makes absolutely no sense. So Forbes pointed out that if you're trying to make the Jedi, or if you're trying to make the Sith sympathetic, let's just play the tape all the way through here. They're the impetus for the space Nazis. So you're making the space Nazis sympathetic. He's all, that doesn't feel very progressive to me, and I'm like, that's a pretty good point, and it's because she's just terrible. It's just a terribly written show. We can forget Disney made it worse. Disney attacked the fans. Amanda Stenberg went out there and made a diss track towards fans. That made it 1,000 times worse. This would have just been a fart in the wind if they hadn't have done that.
Yeah. Because now people are vindictive. They're like, fuck you. How can you say this? Shitty actor.
It's this classic strategy of like, I'm going to go to war against my own customers.
It's like,
let's see how that plays out.
Like a show. What the fuck, man? Like, that's it. That's where the buck stops. It's a shitty show.
Been their game since Ray.
I have to remind you that Disney is the one that produced the Az has one on his shelf. A stormtrooper with the rainbow flag. They made a Nazi with the rainbow flag.
What?
Yes, they made a rainbow colored stormtrooper.
It's a pop figure,
pop vinyl.
You can't even write this shit. That's hilarious.
You can't
Disney, I don't think you considered the optics here.
Yeah.
Well, now you just need the Death Star shooting a planet with a pride laser. Like,
it's the ultimate. He doesn't want to wear the ribbon joke. Yeah, so tone deaf.
Shoot it with a rainbow laser, and you got Mario Kart just going all along that.
That sounds like the next Avengers movie, probably.
Yeah,
but yeah, like we talked about this before, how there's become now this this industry of people who are just primed to hate shows like this, right? And it's like they cultivated that anti-fan base, I suppose. That's the best way to look at it. Not because people just want to hate everything that is Star Wars now, but because they have made a point of antagonizing their own customers. They've made a point of going to war against them, and they've made a point of making or producing the most absolute wretchedly garbage shows imaginable. What do you think is going to happen as a result of that? People are going to get pissed off.
But I think they're almost counting on it, though. Mm-hmm. Like, if you look at the fact that they're putting out stuff that is subpar, and it's not like Disney is full of morons. There are hundreds, if not thousands.
Oh, you're so generous.
No, but here's my point, though. Like, these things go through hundreds, if not thousands of hands, the script. Like, all these people are seeing this and signing off on it because they know that they're putting out something that is subpar, uninteresting. The Acolyte, like, didn't have stormtroopers or Mandalorians or all these characters that are identifiable. So since they can't bank on that marketing and getting the normies in, then they have to bank on pissing us off, where we're going to drive people to go watch it because we're going to bitch about it on Twitter and somebody's going to go, oh my God, is it that bad? And now that's going to drive clicks. That's the only thing they can count on is literal rage, because their fan base, they've decided to alienate and kill off, and the normies don't give a shit. So now they have to keep pissing off the fan base to get the normies to go watch it. That's their whole strategy.
It's got to be the most short-term of short-term bumps, though.
Constantly replacing your audience, and the same audience.
Well, not even that, but
hardcore.
it's like, what? Like, people are going to tune in to see how terrible it really is. Like,
yeah, but those fans don't spend money on all the things that the fans used to spend money keeping the things alive. They're just there to see the shit show.
This is their logic. You know, we're the hornet's nest. They not minding our own business. And then they come in and they poke us, and they're like, "Oh shit, you stung us! It's because I'm black." It's like, what? Fuck.
No, we just sting everybody, buddy.
Yeah. We don't discriminate. If it's shit, it's shit.
I mean, the sad situation, I guess, from their perspective, is that the only people who are making money out of the Acolyte are us. Like, are people like us who are just like ragging on it and
unfortunately, I wanted to like it.
I would argue though, because there is that argument that like, oh, you're making money off it. So, dude, I would make way more money if it was good.
Yeah.
You know how many lore videos I would make? You have any idea? I'm doing like one video a week now, just the breakdown. That's it, and I'm like,
well, it is.
I don't want to get into this.
Underlying sentiment has to be supported, right? Like when people say, you know, you're just appealing to a whole group of people that love hate and stuff, and it's like, how do you think that group of people got to be the way that they are? They just hate everything in the world.
From loving
it easy for you. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, when you know that sentiment, it's like nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans, as if anyone else would hate modern Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you countered that yourself by saying nobody hates Star Wars more than Disney Star Wars fans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly true.
It's not hate, it's passion, too. It's what Henry tried to tell that one guy that tried to bait him. It's like, it's our passion, and we have a right to be passionate because we're the ones putting time, money, and energy on it when everyone else is just like, well, that was a fun thing for an hour, and they go away. But we're still there.
Why can't you just enjoy it? Why can't you just... What the fuck, dude?
Turn your brain off. Go have fun. It's for the kids. I'm sorry. Amanda Stenberg was checking out Manny Jacinto's wiener 2 episodes ago. I wouldn't show that to a kid.
I will believe Star Wars, the movies, are for kids, and George made them. I don't see Andor or this being for kids. And if it was for
definitely
kids,
not a kid's show.
What are we doing?
That's always a weird fucking argument anyway. It's like, it's meant to be shit. It's for kids.
I've heard you. Yeah. The kids can enjoy good things too, you know. And
that's what drives me nuts.
I think I'm reliably informed that we were all kids at some point in our lives, and like we probably enjoyed shows that were actually a bit smarter than people give us credit for. Because this is the crazy thing about kids; they pick up on a lot of things that you don't think that they do, and then you get to become an adult and you assume the same level of retardation in children. It's that weird cycle of life.
Dude, we've always been like this. The cave paintings that I saw when I was a kid were shit, and I called it out every time.
If it's smart, a kid will get something different than an adult. I have someone who has terminally not watched a lot of movies he should have. Nerd War, shout out. He just watched Forrest Gump for the first time.
Wow.
And I know there's plenty. There's much worse affronts. But yeah, he watched that, and the whole Ginny with her father. And it's like, as a kid watching that, I just thought, oh, her dad was mean to her. And then you watch it as an adult, and you're like, well, you get a very different understanding of that scene. But a kid wasn't dumbed down. Same scene.
Well, I just I agree that it's kind of bullshit that they keep defending it with like, oh, this is made for kids. I'm sorry. And I mean, I might be outing myself as a moron here, so whatever.
You're amongst friends. You're amongst friends,
right. But you could still go back, arguably, and watch like older Pixar stuff. Like you could still watch Toy Story and actually enjoy it as an adult because it's actually a quality movie. That's entertaining, and that was a kid's movie with an animated childish medium, and yet it's brilliant. It's actually so clever. You could watch it as an adult and get different things out of it and enjoy it as you did when you were a kid. So why are we accepting that you can feed kids garbage? Like you're just breeding a future generation of idiots.
Yeah.
The best kids movies understood that like parents were going to take their children to go see it, and so there would either be humor that was like only the adults were going to get, but the kids wouldn't be like offended.
One of the best of all time. What you were talking about it earlier was Shrek. Shrek and Shrek 2.
Yeah.
I was taking my kids to see that.
But I think Snarky Jay got like a great example with the Toy Story movies. Those first 3 movies, watching them as a kid, it's a great little adventure story, and like it'll make you think about like growing up and stuff.
People respect animation.
As an adult, though, it hits you like a ton of fucking bricks because you've lived it and you've gotten older and you've grown out of the toys and everything, but like you still have the memories of being that younger. You know,
but see, I think it's 100% on purpose, and I don't want to be like that guy, but I'm going to be that guy for a second. Like they would make movies like Toy Story because they knew your parents were gonna like. I wasn't even alive when the first Toy Story came out. I'm not gonna lie, but I watched them with my parents when I was a kid. So there was always somebody watching these things with me. So these things had to be both approvable by parents and also entertaining for parents. And now they can basically educate your children with whatever messaging and agenda they have because they're going to feed it to your kids and you're not going to sit there and watch it with them.
There's a reason they killed off all our heroes.
Yeah, and there can be a bunch of weird messages in them because you're not even going to be around to see what your kids are watching. Which, I mean, like, I don't give a shit. They're not my problem. But, like, I don't know. Eventually, these people are going to be treating us in hospitals. So I would like them to not be fucking brainwashed.
Yeah. They started with Luke, and they took all our heroes one by one.
Well, I do hear about this, right? Because I've talked about this in, my channel at length. The desecration of heroes that we used to look up to, like the foundations of, like, I guess, our childish understanding of what a hero should be, or like a character that you should look up to. All throughout, like, all of us growing up, like, we're all at different sort of age ranges, I suppose, but we all looked up to characters like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, and we've seen them get turned into either bitter old men or had their memories tarnished by saying, like, well, they were never that heroic in the first place. It was all a bit of mythos that was built around them. Where do you see that going? Like, if we take this to its logical conclusion, what do you see happening here in terms of, like, the next generation of viewers or audience growing up with movies where there aren't any heroes anymore, and we have these weird morally ambiguous characters like we get in The Acolyte, where nobody's really a hero or a villain? It's all just like shades of meh.
You want me to get into that?
To be punished for being
horrible. What I think if we don't have any more heroes to look up to, then we'll need someone to kind of listen to, and that could be, the government. That could be someone in some sort of a higher power that we're kind of forced to believe, and that can get kind of dangerous, because then you don't really have enough heroes to kind of, and there's so many different heroes and villains out there that kids attach to, depending on their personality or whatever. For me, it was Luke, Anakin, Vegeta, all for different various reasons, depending on my mood or what I was going through. And I feel like if we get rid of that, Batman, if we get rid of that, we're just going to have a bunch of weak kids that don't grow up with any sort of backbone whatsoever, or kind of like a standard to look up to and be like, hey, like, I think this is, a character I really like, and I would love to kind of emulate how he deals with certain situations in life the same way. And that would make him strong. That would make him or her, whatever, grow up, I would think, with more structure. But if we get rid of that, that's dangerous, I think.
I think you also start creating a lot of narcissists, to be honest, because I think one of the reasons why we don't idolize ourselves or put ourselves on a pedestal is because we have these examples of heroes that we really like. And the more you take those away, the more we kind of have to look inward and start thinking, well, I'm the best example of whatever there is. And it's amazing how these sentiments have changed, because I was actually talking to somebody the other day. As embarrassing as this is, when I was 4 years old, Buzz Lightyear was the love of my life. I had such a crush on him, but I was 4. And I explained this to somebody the other day as a joke, and they were like, well, that's gross. And I was like, why? I was 4 years old. They're like, yeah, well, he's a fucking space cop, ACAB. And I'm like, are you seriously doing this about Buzz Lightyear?
What?
Because he was a space cop. I'm now a dirty capitalist pig because I liked him when I was 4 years old. That's where we're at. That is where we're at. There are no more heroes. Batman is a dirty rich man beating up poor people for fun. Like,
womanizer.
You cannot like anybody. It's ridiculous.
King destroyed him in the comics, made him give away his money. He still didn't stop crime.
He lost Catwoman too. It's ridiculous.
I stopped at that point when you got cut.
To those people, I just say fuck off. That's as simple as that.
I think that's perfect. that is the perfect response.
Yeah,
just
and it's on
fuck
purpose.
Off. Fuck you
right
and your like moral relativism bullshit. Yeah. We need actual heroes that people can look up to, and it's not a fucking crime to be a heroic character.
I think a lot of people might jump to the gun and be like, they're just fucking media characters. Like, there's a lot of people out there who don't have certain aspects of their life that are able to inspire them as much as one cartoon in the right place, one TV show, one movie in the right place. We all have our favorites, the ones we draw the most inspiration from. And I think like it is a super important part of culture, along with education, obviously good parenting, families and stuff. Like I understand all that. I'm just thinking about how like not seeing characters make selfless decisions, deal with accountability, doing all kinds of sacrifices. And then you see it happen on the screen. You're like, I like that character. I kind of want to, I feel like I'm going to do that if it ever comes up for me, and I'll think about them, and then it'll be subconscious, right? It'll have been built in, and you have to actually do a lot of sort of introspection to figure out why you even became the person you are. And if we lose all of them, which we have lost a fucking lot of them, at least in their modern iterations, right? Part of the job we try to encourage here on these shows is to make sure with future generations to be like, hey, by the way, this isn't that. This isn't Star Wars. This isn't Indiana Jones. This isn't this. It's like all this other stuff that I have the 4Ks of in my big TV. We can watch it all tonight. Like, we're going to watch all the best shit ever. You know, try and keep them alive that way. But at the same time, like, that's why the criticism needs to be maintained, because one day, if we ever have a chance of getting back on track, it will be because we're calling it out, not because we stop talking about it altogether and just wait. That'll never be the solution.
Nope.
No. And if I can add to that, I kind of feel like, you know, how in the old days, they look to gods like, you know, Odin, Zeus, whatever, Thor. Today, what's the difference? We got Superman.
Yeah.
You know, these are our kind of gods.
The modern American mythology.
Yeah.
It's Age of Heroes, turning.
Like,
comic books,
it's always going to be, it's a intrinsic part, I guess, of being human. Like, we always create these idealized versions of ourselves that we want to look up to inspire people. And whether it's going to be, like you say, like the mythological gods, like, you know, Odin or whatever other religion you want to come up with, or in the modern context, pop culture icons like Luke Skywalker or Indiana Jones or anyone else, it's always the same fundamental need. We want people that embody the traits that we look up to, that inspire us to try and do a little bit better in our own lives. We're not going to be Steve Rogers. We're not going to be like Captain America or anything, but we can embody some of the aspects of his personality, like not giving up, not being constrained by like the limitations of, you know, being a little bit weedy or whatever. It comes down to more than that in life. Those are great things to teach people. Like, how many people were inspired to become engineers because of Scotty from Star Trek, or were inspired to, apparently. Yeah, were inspired to get into better shape because of Rocky Balboa. Like, you could go on and on and on. Dude. Like, all of these things help people in some way because they're given positive role models to look up to. And MauLer was exactly right. Not everyone, not every kid has that in their life.
Yeah. So they literally save lives. It's so important.
What the foundation did.
The foundation of Peter Parker's Spider-Man that I grew up with was it taught me, and through comics, that life is incredibly unfair. He couldn't pay his rent. He always had to take care of his aunt. He couldn't tell anybody who he was. He was always, he's got J. Jonah Jameson on his ass all the time. He's got the cops on his ass all the time, and he still does the right thing. That's what was different about him. That's why I liked him.
Great way of putting it, Gary.
Yeah, he was a great role model.
Yeah.
I mean, societally, there's just a really weird shift. Like, I always think about when Peter Cullen's been interviewed about Optimus Prime, he always has that line, and I get Transformers is ridiculous. It's a truck robot guy, but it means a lot to a lot of people, myself included. And they have that line, be strong enough to be gentle. And I think these days, the be strong enough to be gentle has been completely thrown away for being loud enough to get what you want. These days there is no strength. It's just arguing for what you think is correct. There is never any space for any introspection because you don't have to look inward. Whatever you think is exactly what should be. There is nobody else who could provide a good example for you because whatever you think is definitely correct. It's genuinely like narcissistic and weird. I mean, I don't want to be like, we live in a society, but we live in a society.
The gist of so many stories used to be the hero of the story would start in a place way down here, like weak, maybe a little bit overconfident in themselves. They start to like climb up a little bit. They hit some setback, like they match themselves up against someone who's way stronger than them, and they hit adversity and they fall down. They have to find some kind of strength within themselves. They have to learn some kind of lesson, and that's when they rise up and eventually overcome their adversity. And that's a simple formula, but it works so well. This idea that you are not necessarily born prepared to take on all the challenges that life is going to throw at you. but you are going to have to learn to become a stronger person as a result of that. And eventually you will, and you'll overcome, and you will then reach a better place as a person. That's what life is. It's about growing, adapting, becoming a stronger, better, more capable person. Those are good lessons to teach people. They work well. That's going to equip you to deal better with life. Now, I think, like you said, the message is more, you're already awesome. You know everything you need to know already, and it's the rest of the world who just has to adapt to you and deal with enough. You. Yeah.
No.
And that is a horrible lesson to teach people, because that is not going to equip them to deal with life.
It's bullshit. It tells people that they can be complacent the way they are. They don't gotta get healthy. They don't gotta work harder. They don't gotta nothing. It's just
we've had a shocking amount of stories in the recent years that have been, you were right all along. Like, for the protagonist, it's insane. Not just obviously mentally, but physically too. Like, you don't need to do any kind of training. You've got the strength. You had it all along. You just needed to believe in yourself. It's like there's an aspect, right, a truth and believe in yourself that can take you to a particular place that you need to go. But fucking hell, like watching every character in the MCU that's been newly introduced just be told in the third act, by the way, you got it all. And they're like, I do. You're like, yep, go.
Yep. Did you notice like a certain like demographic that ties together all of those characters that are perfect right off the bat?
Yes, the hero's journey.
I think we did.
I'm not a biologist.
They're not straight white men. I'll put it that way. Fucking hell.
No, there's
the one thing from that Star Wars funeral yesterday that everyone said, it was just that Star Wars had always been there. It's like, for the most part, some of the older ones are like, oh, I saw it when I was younger. But for the most part, Star Wars was just an ever-present thing. And that's why it's such a, like, a constant thing of, like, heroes that's just sort of, boop. And, yeah, not alone in that there's some of these heroes, they've just always been there for us. And that's why we take not kindly when we see them depicted in the way they've been depicted.
Yeah.
Are we entering into a post-hero world?
I think that's where we're at.
Will it get to the point like all this stuff is so far in the past that like the current generation just won't even look it up?
The need for heroes is like fundamental, I think, and they'll find their way back.
Well, I know, and like I want to believe that, but then the need might be there, but then the ability to articulate that need and then translate that into action to produce movies or media or whatever that supplies it.
It'll happen on its own, right? It's that good times meme, good times make strong. And, you know, we're right in the bad times, about to make some real strong people that will hopefully then write some really good heroes as examples for the next generation.
Cool. Well, I can't wait for the coming apocalypse that could bring about better storytelling in media.
Well, we'll see. Let's cross our fingers.
Just before we continue, I know Theory and Gary, you guys have got to bounce, unfortunately. I hope you have fun bouncing off towards the horizon.
I will bounce away to the horizon.
Honestly though, thank you guys for joining us for this tonight, this funeral for Star Wars for the umpteenth time. I appreciate you guys coming in for this.
Anytime, man. And Gary, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for having me on. We got FNT tomorrow. Comic-Con next week. See you there. It was nice meeting you, Jay and Badger.
Good to meet you.
Yep. I'll actually be at the Comic-Con, so I will see you at the meetup.
I'll see you there.
Meetup. Yep.
MauLer, I'll see you sooner than later. Drinker, thanks again. It's always an honor to be on. Ciao, everyone.
Man.
Thanks, chat.
Bye.
Thank you, Gary. And Theory. No, he's gone.
There he is.
That was easy. He just left. Well, I guess before we wrap things up tonight, I'll do a few super chats if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
And then finish up. All right, let's do it. Jordan Pendragon says, for last week, Master and Commander wasn't mentioned for films of 2003. I would have preferred to see a sequel to that more than Gladiator. Yeah, you and me both, mate. If I'd been a bit more aware, I would have done my my little research for 2003. And yeah, Master and Commander would have been up there. It's one of those movies that I've reviewed. I think I got a Drinker recommends for it. Great film, and doesn't get enough love these days. Britt Cormier says, Gary and I are the same age. I think his Star Trek example of how our generation grew into our fandom. It was a grown-up entertainment that we did not understand, but we did enjoy. We came to understand the stories as we grew older, and our fandom grew, which I think is fair. Probably you don't get all the nuances of something like Star Trek when you're younger, but as you grow into it, there it is. But like, I think it's good enough that you can enjoy it almost at any age. Axel's Abode says, inspiring me to do my own stuff. Keep up the great work, everyone who's ever been on this show. Thank you very much, man. Austin Ewer says, if nothing else, the Acolyte managed one impressive feat. It made Space Wizard Samurai lame. That's a hard thing to pull off.
Yeah.
I really wanted us to like that fight.
Johnny Tightlips says, I ain't saying nothing. Staying consistent, Johnny. I like it. Matthew Dens says, MauLer, did I hear correct that you got a Dooku hilt? Is it the Attack of the Clones hilt or the gold trigger one? Which blade font do you like to use for it?
Oh, well, if you want to know exactly how it looks, Theory Sabers, it's currently on sale. I think he said it's like a special design because it's difficult to get it. It's not like one-to-one with the Attack of the Clones, but it is the one I want anyway. Dooku's hilt is just objectively the coolest fucking hilt in all of Star Wars, so...
Theory gave you and I the chance to order one, and we both went for the exact same one. It looks so fucking cool.
I went for the Dooku, really.
Yeah, it's so sleek. It's so cool designed. Like, I don't know what to say. It looks great. It's an elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
Truly.
Lord Botha says, R.I.P. Bob Newhart. Yeah, 96? Gary said. That is old as fuck, man.
If you make it to 90s, I feel like that's a good run.
Yeah, like anything beyond 90 is like just pretty awesome. Metal Face Rosie says to the whole panel, tell us some cringy bands that you loved in high school.
I was really into Fall Out Boy in high school. That's pretty embarrassing, I guess.
We'll allow it.
I mean, Limp Bizkit. I don't know if they're cringy, but back in the day.
No, that's fair. All right. Greystone Author says, Drinker, as a writer of books and fountain of knowledge, what's your thoughts on trigger warnings? They can go fuck themselves.
Amen.
Trigger warnings.
Bro, you could have warned us before you said that. Jeez.
Sorry. Trigger warning. Trigger warnings can go fuck themselves. There you go. Joshua says, I bet lesbian headlamp gave her green husband Saber good hawk twat between ticks. Okay, sure. Crew Kid says, hi, Drinker panel. Not sure if you heard, but Chris Stuckman, in addition to working with Mike Flanagan, has just scored a distribution deal with Neon. Yes, I did hear about that, actually. It's very impressive stuff. So,
good for him.
I mean, I hope his movie's really good. You know, I'll be interested to see it, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
We will. I hope it's more interesting than his movie reviews. Put it that way. Joshua also says, hey, MauLer, have you seen The Northman yet? Highly recommend it to you, Rags, and Frongo. Also, panel, what do you think of the Nosferatu trailer? So, MauLer, first of all, answer the question, damn it.
No, I haven't. It's one of my gaps. I got to see it at some point.
God damn it. How many times have we talked about this? Watch The Northman. It's good.
Yeah,
fine.
Nosferatu, yeah, the trailer looks really good. Robert Eggers, I like him as a director.
Eggers is off again.
Yeah. I really
he doesn't know how to make bad films, so it's a fun thing about him.
Yeah. Looking forward to Nosferatu. Hopefully it's going to be good. Drake Timbershaft says, Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Many. Okay. Joshua also says, can Gundam join the Boogie EFAP? He'd be great.
Sure. Okay, so I'm not even kidding. Discord has a cap of 10 people. I think StreamYard has the same thing. There's currently 11 people for this. So I don't even know what's going to happen. I'm hoping one of them doesn't. Because we're in trouble with juggling. And that's not including Gundam. But honestly, if he really wants into this space, it's absolutely fine.
Shit, man. I think if you invited Boogie on, he would probably join you guys. He's that desperate for clout.
You know what?
So when are we going to find out if he's actually got cancer or not?
He's getting a bone marrow biopsy at some point, and that'll be the definitive confirmation.
Are you guys familiar with this?
I hate that I even slightly know what's going on because I've seen this
I'm lost.
in clips.
Okay, so you know who Boogie is, yeah?
Wait. The out of context statement that's the best about all of this is Boogie 2988 is currently praying that he has cancer.
What? Oh my god.
So yeah, I mean, you know who Boogie is, right? Like as a general idea.
Right. I don't Yeah, I'm lost.
So he's a great big fat bastard, right? Who like became really famous, like with the early days of YouTube. Like he was like this really nice, funny, happy-go-lucky guy, like just a geeky guy, you know. And he became like really successful on YouTube. The problem is once he started live streaming and stuff, he got unmasked as a bit of a monster and like who just constantly lied about everything in his life.
Yep.
And now it's gotten to the point where he apparently has claimed that he has got cancer in order to fake sympathy money out of his own audience. And it seems like he probably doesn't, and it was just all a bit of bullshit. And now he's waiting for his doctor's report that's going to tell people whether or not he has it or not.
The last clip I saw was Destiny bullies Boogie to unalive himself on stream. I started because Destiny's going through his own thing right now. It's a shit show.
He tried to say to Destiny that the reason he's fat is because it's a form of self-harm, and that's proof that he's suicidal. And then Destiny said it'd be easier to just cut yourself. And then he said, I'll do that right now. And then grabbed a knife. But the thing is, you have to understand, Boogie only ever does this stuff for attention. He would never actually do anything harmful to himself. Like
what it comes down to is like he just likes eating things.
Yeah, he said that like when I buy a Mountain Dew and drink it, I don't even like the taste. I just do it to hurt myself. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Fucking bring out the Johnny Cash song, honestly.
I thought I had issues.
No, that's a whole other level over there.
There's a documentary that was made about Boogie. Like, if you happen to have like an hour spare and you hate yourself, then watch that.
Or you want to feel massively better about your own life choices.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's the first time I've ever seen a documentary filmmaker like straight up go to the camera and say, I can't fucking talk to this guy anymore. I'm sick of him. I need to go and do something else for a while.
He's like, just a chronic liar. It's just constant. And the recent stream, he like starts it with this kind of tone where he's very serious and he just wants this all to be over. But it takes like 10 minutes before he's riled all the way back up to just shouting at everybody about how he definitely has cancer, even though he totally lied about it. It's like ruined his whole life. He's a fascinating, is what people would call a fall from grace, but we're talking a decade of falling. So it's kind of, it feels weird to call it that at this point.
And when he hits the ground, like there's a lot of mass at play there. So
yes,
it's going to
takes a long time to fall.
So we're going to try and cover it this Saturday somewhat, but his highlights record is so insane. You'll watch clips and you'll be like, oh my God. And you're like, yeah, that happened 8 years ago. And you'll be like, what the fuck?
We did cover like a charity boxing match that him and this other guy called Wings of Redemption got into. Like both of these guys weigh like a metric ton each. And like, so watching them get into the ring was like a feat into itself. And yeah, like it was mesmerizing, the amount of jiggling that I saw, like when they were trying to fight each other. Like it was hypnotic.
We were mostly just impressed with Wings railing fucking Boogie. He was not letting up, just killing the shit out of him, you know. It was great.
It's sounds like something to miss. Something we missed.
It's like I was trying to call the fight like it was a Rocky Balboa fight.
So for anyone who doesn't know, they fought in a boxing match for about, I want to say 40 seconds before it had to be called.
Not 38 seconds, 40.
It was something. Yeah, I know. I you know, Az would have been interested in the connection.
Missed it by that much.
But it was fascinating. Like just watching this fucking insane event take place. I didn't believe it was happening when it was happening.
My God.
Anyway, I'll move on. Ian Carell says, you missed my super chat on Real BBC, so I'm going to ask it here. Groggy MauLer, having watched the most of the original series, which episode would you make a follow-up movie to, like Wrath of Khan for Space Seed?
Oh, so a
so if you could
episode turned into a movie with like a sequel story.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'd have to do this is I wish I was asked this and then we had like I could answer it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know this is kind of a shit thing to put you on the spot for because it's like there's a lot to sift through there.
Can we definitely read that out on the catch up so that I can have an answer by then?
No, because I will absolutely forget about this whole conversation like while we're doing this because I'm really drunk at the moment.
Well, but you're going to read through the list and it'll be there, right?
Super chatted again for $1.
Well, yeah, but like I'll start at the point where I ended this stream. So like I don't know how I can do this. Like, I don't know. You remember, okay? Make a mental note to talk to me about this afterwards. Okay?
Fine, I'll try.
Come on, I can trust you for this one thing. You have one job. Jordan Pendragon says 2004, the most profitable year for Blockbuster Video.
Oh, okay.
I hope that's true. I remember Blockbuster.
I remember Blockbuster, yeah. So many good memories.
Cannon Falderall says, Longman, Arcane Season 1 is going to be released on 4K Blu-ray in October. Available for pre-order now. Can't wait to see the quality animation in glorious HD. Cheers.
Yeah, I'll be grabbing that for sure. Also, it's not that I don't have episodes that I love. I would want to try and theorize what the movie would be about, you know? If I can, that's why I want a bit of time to think about it.
Well, that's it. Like, you'd have to pick the ones, like, maybe one or two that, like, really meant something to you, and then think, well, where could we go with this story-wise? So,
yeah.
Like, I totally get it. You can't just think of that, like, off the cuff.
Okay, so a quick, easy answer would just be Mirror Mirror. I love that episode. I would happily make a whole movie out of that. It would be great. Especially Evil Spock. He was so fucking interesting.
Oh, is this the Mirror universe where they've all got goatees? That's how
to be
you know
fair,
they're evil.
Isn't it mainly just Spock who has the goatee?
Is Sulu in that one? Does he not have a goatee as well? Mirror
sleeveless
universe
though.
Sulu.
Well, in any case, the character, because he sets up that Spock might make that world better when he leaves the evil universe, and so the movie subplot would obviously just be, or primary plot actually, what happened with what Kirk told evil Spock, and we go back and see the results. So there you go. That's an answer.
People are saying Sulu has a scar instead of facial hair. So okay, yeah, that's fair. Never trust a man with a beard. Anyway, Jordan Pendragon says, I sense a virgin in the Force. Yeah, that was one thing that kept disturbing me about Soul's enunciation. Like, he kept saying virgin instead of virgins.
I wish they had said Force Nexus, but they said virgins because Qui-Gon said virgins, and it's like a key jangle. But yeah, virgins.
Yeah, it's not a convergence, it's a virgins.
Yeah,
and it's not a mechanic, it's a mechanic. Fuck this shit.
That mechanic. I was like, what? They don't pronounce it. Why would they have humans instead of droids?
Star Joker says, I don't understand. They had dozens of great books and they disregard all of them for this. My Plagueis, I need a drink and something strong. Yeah, I don't blame you. Nathan A says, happy birthday, Jay. 24 years young, beautiful, and snarky. Hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. Sorry, I forgot to say, you mentioned this. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday.
It is. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
I'm going to drink a shot of Jack Daniels in your honor. But yeah, I hope you've had a lovely day so far. And then
you very much.
Spend it with us idiots here.
I can think of worse days to spend it. I'm cool.
Talking about all the great entertainment we have that's totally not ruined.
Ivan says, I watched Ad's review and I just could not believe that Disney Star Wars actually turned the Jedi into PDF files and abusers. Write what you know, Leslie? I mean, yeah, I guess so. Banana Guy says, anyone notice that Palpatine sounding voice when Vernestra asked for Yoda? I don't know. Did you? Did she sound like Palpatine there?
I did not catch that.
Maybe.
I didn't.
Okay. She just sounded like a plank of wood, as always.
Yeah.
Really. Archangel MCM says, good evening, drinker. Good evening to you. I was in Scotland last week with some mates, and while driving alone, we saw you walking Smokey. Sorry we didn't stop and invite you to the pub. I hope that's fucking true. That's brilliant. Why didn't you pull over?
Wouldn't that scare you if a car pulled over all of a sudden aggressively? Like...
Yeah, like a bunch of like idiots, like just like drink again. We're gonna go booze, and it's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll bring the dog with me, and we'll get drunk. Sounds fine. Charles Hurst says, "Hail to the panel, drinker. I just saw the behind the scenes video for Rogue Elements. It's looking great, and I'm excited to watch the film. Cheers, thank you. Yeah, I've started putting up. There's like 5 of them, I think, that they produced in the course of like this project, all like behind the scenes things on the making of Rogue Elements. So I'm going to release them on my second channel, like, you know, 1 per week or whatever, in the run up to the release of the film. So like give you a little bit of insight into how it was made. And I'm even in it giving interviews occasionally. So that was surreal as fuck. The next one, Derek says, people keep taking shots at Star Wars Theory on Twitter because he's the king of Star Wars YouTube. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I know.
I will say, I have seen so many viral tweets going after him. It's been insane. Yeah. It's like the people who like the show, put that in quotation marks, seems that they only seem to like it if we don't like it. And they've announced this shit. There was a tweet I saw. I was gonna quote tweet it, but then I think I decided Twitter was I'd already done 4, and I was like, that's too much for a day. I need to go outside. But like the tweet said, you know, it was like a quote tweet of Star Wars Theory clip saying what they've done wrong with Plagueis, and then someone quote tweeted that and it had a shit ton of likes, and it just said if he doesn't like it, I'm watching it.
Right.
And it's just like,
yeah. That's the
That's
attitude.
the pettiest thing you could say. Like, I like this just because he doesn't. What are you, 5?
Yeah.
I mean, that's partially why they like it.
Well, imagine wasted hours of your life. Like, oh, I'm going to sit here and pretend to like this because Theory doesn't like it. Like, I'm really like spending my life wisely.
Or they call him negative, and I've got his subreddit is a cancer. It's not his fans, and I've got it's all of him. Like, I wish you would just not talk. So you literally just don't want him to talk about any modern Star Wars. You want him to just go back to do Star Wars Theory videos on stuff from 10 years ago because he doesn't. They're really upset that he doesn't like it, and he's just being honest.
Well, because that's the best thing they can do. They can't just disagree with you. They have to silence you because it goes against their narrative.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like a lot of the comments have been like, oh, like, well, he's hanging out with Nazis now, and so he can't pretend to like things anymore.
I don't understand
that one.
It's
like straight up that meme of like anyone I disagree with online is Hitler.
Aren't they so tolerant and like gentle?
Well, unfortunately, they're talking about you and RK Outpost and other people. Then it's like you get the fence. Like, what are you talking about? First of all, receipts. They never have them. Then when you go, where in the video did they say that? They go, oh, you think I'd watch that toxic video? So they don't even watch
well, you're talking shit about it. You would think that you have some receipts.
One of my favorite
the
things.
Mary Sue went after him, didn't they?
Yes,
they
did. Yes.
And she straight up admitted, like, I've never watched this video. It's like, well, what the fuck are you even complaining about?
Well, it was funny because she said that he was grifting and attacking women. And I'm like, I was just live with him last week. I didn't feel attacked. And she just like ignored me. I was like, okay, like.
Wow. Your opinion doesn't matter if you don't agree. So.
That's your internalized misogyny.
You dumb Hispanic brainwashed woman. Your opinion matters not.
Theory when he tried to talk to her like a human. He's like, does this mean you don't want a theory saber? Like, I don't believe he would have given her one too.
He probably would.
He's a good dude. That's why it's extra hard to see him get attacked. He might like Anakin, but Theory is Luke, that ever good spirit that like doesn't want to give up. That's why they go after him.
The seeing people share those clips, right? They're like fucking 10 seconds of him say it'll be like Theory reacting to something that happens in the episode, and he'll be mad. He'll just be like, oh, fuck's sake. They'll share that. 3 of them go up, and then someone will be like, every clip I see of this guy, he's just hating it. Why does he even watch it? It's like, because every clip is shared to make you angry at him. They're all out of context. You're being played. Like, how can you not notice that? Like, why is it that all of his content is just him yelling at Star Wars? Like, because it's not.
Yeah.
It's like, I've watched 30 seconds of his content, and man, all he does is hate on things. Like,
and then when someone says, like, oh, here's a video of him not doing that, they're like, I'm not going to watch his fucking video. You fucking crazy. Why would I watch this guy's video? It's like, ugh.
Well, it was funny because I got tagged in an argument on Twitter like yesterday, and some guy was like, oh, I don't understand why everybody hates this. Like, I watch this content. And so somebody tagged me, shared my review of episode 8, and was like, look, I don't like it. She kind of gives my reasons. They're like, I'm not going to watch that. That's just somebody complaining. You just asked why people are mad. I'm explaining it. Like, this just sounds like somebody complaining. You sound like a bitch. Like...
And Theory is very consistent about what upsets him and what makes him have that reaction. And it's not women or ethnicities. It's disrespecting the characters and disrespecting the lore.
Yeah.
And I think the thing you can never accuse him of is like going out intentionally wanting to hate a Star Wars thing. Because, man, like he has tried his utmost to praise this stuff or to find good things in it.
He used to get attacked for being overly positive.
Yeah, well, but then with the Acolyte, he hit a fucking brick wall, and it's like, what can I do? It's sometimes it's not down to like prejudice or like critiques of wanting to hate it like right off the bat. Sometimes it actually just is shit, and there's nothing you can do about it. If you're going to be honest about it, you have to just say what it is. And again, that comes in his case, it comes from a place of wanting Star Wars to be better. And wanting better media in that franchise.
They'd make so much money if they just did it. I don't but their ideology is more important. They're replacing our heroes with their heroes is more important. That's why they're taking the hit.
The slight fly in the fly in the ointment there is that their heroes are actually villains. So,
oopsie, are we the baddies?
Yeah. Once you get that ironed out, you're fine. You're gold.
Yeah.
Nathan says, I have to thank all of you for sacrificing your sanity and mental well-being for our stakes and enduring the piece of shit that they called a story. Yeah, I mean, like, I have definitely shaved a few years off my life with the amount of booze I've had to drink to get through the Acolyte, but, you know, it was worth it to entertain you guys.
We're still alive, and that's what matters.
Yeah. Rossi gave us a super sticker, so thank you. BTEX says, how does it feel to have seen 65 episodes of Star Wars TV?
Not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, have we seen that? Is that what it comes to? If you
I
add
can believe that.
50, how
3
many?
seasons of Mando, Ahsoka, Acolyte, Andor, and then throw on Obi-Wan Kenobi, Boba.
It's crazy because there was that series that George Lucas wrote that it was famously done, and it had like 50 episodes of it, and we just never saw it. And it got turned into other things, I think. But oh boy, what we would have had.
Yeah. Stephen DeLore or DeLeon says, happy birthday, Snarky Jay.
Go. Thank you very much.
Master of Puppets says, hail drinker, I saw your behind the scenes video for your movie. Looking good, man. Glad to see Frost. She's one of my favorites. R.I.P. Star Wars.
Has Halo been canceled?
That's what people are saying.
That. If that's true, then God bless the world. The timeline is healing.
I saw that in the chat a couple times, but I don't know if it's actually canceled.
If I see it more than 3 times, I consider it true.
The universe is healing.
Works. Yeah. Well, because didn't Paramount just get bought? So now maybe they're canceling.
Yes, they have actually.
Maybe.
Yeah. Thank God.
But yeah, for the movie, we got a great actress that was playing Frost, and she just absolutely like fell in love with the character right off the bat. So she just got her immediately. So we were very lucky there. Well, that's just super. Says you just know that the Acolyte writers could tell you in great detail what the windows of the short bus taste like. I'm sure they could. And Joe Cale says the Super Size Me guy lied to the professionals and was actively being a full-blown alcoholic, so all the results were bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't entirely criticize him for that, but
you like the whole thing was fraudulent. Like all of it was essentially bullshit. I've watched a couple of videos covering it, and it's kind of surprising because you'd think like, what I'm going to do is prove that McDonald's is not healthy for you by eating lots of it. And you're like, how did you fuck that up?
I've seen that too, MauLer. He also didn't go into it with exactly the best health, and he picked like the worst possible items. Like, yeah, it was a highly skewed documentary.
Well, so the response.
What was he expected to happen though? Like, there was no McDonald's items that you could eat. That would make you healthier.
Probably eats fast food for every meal. He's still alive somehow.
Yeah, like, so this is the thing. There's a guy who made a documentary where he took all the rules that Spurlock came up with, and he did the quote unquote diet for a month, and he lost weight.
Right.
And his doctor was like, "What the fuck? You've been eating nothing but McDonald's." He was like, "Yeah." But
and the video I saw, the guy was upset that really all you did was screw everyone out of a really good value of like compared to what things cost now. You could have gotten all this food for less money.
Yep.
Thanks, bro.
Fuck's sake. Knife wielding women says only Drinker and Jay bothered to dress up for the Star Wars funeral. I know. Like, what the fuck? Everyone else just shows up in hoodies and t-shirts and stuff.
I should have come in my pajamas.
What if it is the dress code for their culture? You don't know, you culture hater. Yeah.
What do they dress? What do they dress like in Wales? Like Cthulhu, fucking like extra dimensional monsters.
Yeah, and I'd be offended if you made fun of my outfit. I'd be like, this is respectful. That's what this is called. And you were the opposite. That
was what was funny about the Mary Sue is when she immediately started body shaming Theory and insulting him and doing all the things that if he had said that to her, there'd be articles about how toxic he is and that he assaulted a woman in her body.
I think it's funny as well. Like body shaming Theory, isn't he like a fucking bodybuilder or something? Like,
that's why
guys
he used to get bullied, so he got jacked. Now you're gonna make fun of him?
Is this the lady
tolerance for sure?
Yeah.
Is this the lady that was in the interview that he covered?
Yeah,
the Mary Sue lady. So she was mad at him because he made fun of a terrible interview. Is that what happened?
Yeah, and then didn't watch it, realizing that all of his points were on Leslie Headland's comments, not her comments. Didn't even really address the lady actually doing the interview. But she got all upset at him and blamed him, and then said, "Oh, I didn't watch it."
I'd feel pretty awful if everyone was laughing at the interview that I had made, if you know what I mean. I'd be like,
yeah.
Shit. Because, yeah, we found that by absolute chance. I was watching a theory stream where a fan of his mentioned that she had it, and she made one comment about the nature of Pablo Hidalgo being the source for all of the lore stuff. Yeah. And then I was like, I wonder what is in the rest of this video. And I watched it. I was like, holy fuck, this is awful. There's so many awful comments.
That and the Nerdist articles were like, oh shit, Leslie doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, no. Really doesn't know when sussed out. I feel it's like, but you wrote it. Shouldn't you know?
She said Smilo Ren to the Jedi are the rebels to the Empire.
Wow.
That's where we are. Like you said, their heroes are villains.
It's so fucked.
Well, it's not about good and evil, according to them.
Power.
It's about power.
Yep. Who gets to use it?
Oh, whatever.
So 2024 shit. Yeah. Go back to classic.
Keep thinking about the fucking Jamaicans from Predator 2. Like, this is about power.
It's about power. Yeah, please use that. King Willie.
Yeah.
God. Another thing Erwin just watched for the first time, shout out Nerdrotic, Predator 1 and 2.
Oh, man, yeah. Predator 2 doesn't get nearly enough love these days, I tell you. Anyway, I'm probably going to finish it up there. I want to say thank you to the absolute heroes, Angry Badger and Snarky Jay, that stuck with us right till the end. We're not going to talk about those chumps, Nerdrotic and bailing out on us. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you coming here. For everyone who's watching this, the link to both of their channels are in the description. So please, if you're not subscribed to them already, make them even more successful than they are already, because it all helps. And yeah, thank you for everyone who's joined us for this live stream tonight, this funeral for the Acolyte and our little autopsy on it. I hope you've gotten some kind of entertainment out of it, which means it's more entertaining than the actual show itself by an order of magnitude. So thank you.
We all got way more entertainment on all the streams from making fun of it than actually watching it.
And it brought us all closer together. Look,
it really did, actually.
Meaningful connections we've made here. All it took was the Acolyte. What a work of art.
We brought our own little rainbow of diversity together to make these live streams happen. So I think they should be pleased at that. Like, they've accomplished something at least by making this show. So thank you.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
The power of many.
People again.
Yeah. But well, for now at least, that is all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.